The streets will never make you grow. It's not a seed, it's a gutter. There's no happy endings in this life. So this is my message to you. The streets will never love you back. That's so true. The streets will never love you back. Tell me that's not right. So, shout out to Live and Let Live. Hello, guys. I hope everybody's doing well today. Today's our Sunday chat. Today we chop it up. We get together, talk about some stuff. I mean, you guys could talk about anything you like. You know, I wasn't going to come on. I made the promise this morning, but then I said, you know what? I promise you guys, I know you guys look forward to this stuff, sitting down and talking. What's up, Mike Larry, Linda Amsterdam, Snoopy, Anthony Salerno, Michael Hill, Daniel Romano, Leon Swan, Jesse. And I appreciate everybody coming on and hanging out with me today. Maybe one of you will get in the chat room and we could chop it up. But I wanted to talk about, I want to retract yesterday when I came on live and the guy, Aussie, came on. AUCI, I think. And he says he's from the neighborhood, Bay 50th, and I know some people that he knows. Now, in that conversation, he said, I'm a private figure now. I'm a public figure, he was saying. And I wasn't thinking about it yesterday, and then I really thought about it. You know, I almost have 19,000 subscribers, followers, and I love you guys. I really appreciate you. And I was saying to myself, I said, you know what? I do have a small following, and I am a public figure now, and it's good to have this small platform where we could get together and talk about things that are going on in the world, in our lives, and on YouTube, the internet, and how the world has changed. And, you know, we talk about this mob content because it's entertaining. And I give you some stories about back in the day when I was a kid. And there's a lot of you guys I really got to get to know, and I enjoy talking to you. Some of you people send me messages and I message you back. Some of you people call me and you need an ear for someone to listen to. And, you know, I appreciate your friendship and being a part of my world that I'm living in, this YouTube world. Now, I also want to talk about, you know, respect, because, you know, I find myself sometimes jumping the gun on people, and I have also a lot to learn. You know, I'm trying to better myself, better my life as I get older. I want to be a role model for my children and for other young kids out there, and also adults. You know, listen, you live and let, and you learn, you know. And you know, that's what it's all about. It's all about growing and making your life better. And if you can help somebody along the way change their life, I mean, you know what? That's what, you know, I'm looking to do. But Tim Reed, thank you. I appreciate that. Alan Langley, thank you. Jack Mikata, I appreciate it. Queens guy. And you know, look, I look forward to doing this on Sunday. And, you know, we have some fun with it. We get some strangers on here and some YouTube people, some of you people I got to know. And, we make a nice day out of it. A lot of you are watching football. I haven't watched football in the last 2 years, ever since this COVID and all this craziness going on. So I really don't watch the news too much either. I mean, everything's on my phone. Like if I needed to get a score or something that's going on in the news, you just go on your phone and you find out on your phone. So I really don't watch the news. There's a lot of negative stuff going on. So today we're going to do the same thing. I'll throw a link in the chat room. We could all get together. We could talk about a certain subject, an event, whatever you think is interesting, and we can go from there. But I appreciate all you people, and believe it or not, you're also helping me. I look forward to coming on here, talking to you guys, and I love giving you stories and stuff like that. I wanted to bring up because I was thinking about it. When I was a kid growing up, and after John Polio was murdered, a lot of people put in my head, they always told me to be careful. I was 18 at the time when John Polio was murdered, and they told me, don't go into cars. For example, one time I was talking to this guy, Frankie Notch. He passed away now. Anyway, his father was a wise guy with the Colombo crew, Joe Notch. And this bartender on Bay 23rd in Bath saw me talking to him. And after I finished talking to him, she said, Jimmy, don't ever trust him. So there's a lot of people in that neighborhood, the good people, that gave us a lot of warning signs and was telling us, be careful who you trust and, be careful whose car you get into. So there was a lot of warning signs growing up in the neighborhood. Like people knew how the neighborhood was and they were looking out for us on the down low and telling us, be careful, because they seen this throughout the course of their life, as far as guys getting into cars or young kids getting killed. That's how that neighborhood worked back then growing up. Now, there was a time when I was a kid and they had the Deja Vu Club between Bay 16th and Bay 17th on Bath Avenue. Now, a lot of people from my neighborhood, they know what I'm talking about. And on top of that Deja Vu Club, some girl, Antoinette, lived on top of there. I mean, she was a wild woman. And she was friendly with Pat and Albie. And she was like, she was easy. A lot of guys hung out with her, but she was a maniac. She was tough. She used to do a lot of drugs. But when she was walking in the street, she was very, she's a street person and she was a fighter. A lot of girls feared her, but she would get down with the guys too. I mean, she would fool around with some guys and then also fight them after. And there would be all kinds of things going on in front of the Deja Vu Club. Somebody would pull up and say, for example, a guy from out of town from a different avenue came to Bath Avenue to talk to a girl. The guy would pull up and the girl would walk over to the car and she would stand on the window and start talking to the guy. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, some other guy with a baseball bat would come and smash the guy's windows and the guy would just take off. I mean, these are the things I remember in my neighborhood. My neighborhood was wild and crazy back then, But I like sharing these little stories with you. I got a lot more stories to tell. And let it ride. Jimmy, you talking about Tony Marie. I'm sure there was an incident with her too, growing up. But, that's how it was back then. Woman can get you in trouble, that's for sure. But Brooklyn Day, what's up? Miss Can't Be Wrong. Live and Let Live. So we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to put a link inside the chat. Let's we'll chop it up. We'll see what goes on today. and we'll have some fun with it. Hold up, guys. Sometimes I get confused with this. Okay. One minute. Let me see. Okay, just give me some time. Trying to remember how to do this now. Okay. Okay. Well, remember how to do this thing. There you go. Okay. So I dropped the link. Anyone's invited. If you want to come on, you want to talk, we could talk. But yeah, yesterday when I was talking to that guy Aussie, he actually gave me good advice. I am a public figure. I think we got the Fat Boss Sicilian on here. Let me see. I see Alphonse. Okay, let's get rid of this one over here. Okay. Let me talk to this guy over here, Bleak Future. Let me see what he's about.
How you doing, Jimmy?
Bleak Future, what's up, pal? How's everything?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Good. Yeah, so I'm pretty surprised to get on, to be honest, but good to speak to you. I'm from England. I've watched you for quite a while. Have you got any more Tommy Karate stories?
Yeah, I got a couple. Nothing really crazy. But Tommy was one of the guys in the neighborhood. But yeah, I got a couple of them. Tommy was a bad boy,
Yeah.
But did you read the Butcher?
Was he a scary guy to be around?
I mean, look,
Tommy Karate, yeah.
A lot of guys were around him, and he was, pleasant, and he's a regular guy. So, but to get to know him, I guess, and trust him, you never know when you're going to get killed, when he's going to turn on you. A guy like that, a guy like that, he might kill you because you're more prettier than him.
Yeah.
You can't trust people like that.
Good. So how did Paulie Galino compare to him? Like, were they the same level of like dangerousness, or were they different people?
No, Tommy was more a mentor to Paulie. Paulie wanted to be like him.
Yeah.
So that's how the neighborhood was. You followed the bad guy. So you want to be like him. You want to get your first murder. You want to make a name for yourself. You want to make a reputation. And then eventually you want to get straightened out. You want to become a made man. Once you become a made man, then you actually have a license to do anything you like. John Stolberg.
Hey, Jimmy, how are you, man?
How's everything?
I'm hearing two voices. I don't know why, but I tried to get it 2 weeks ago, screwed up, and last week was a power failure. But I do have a couple questions, all right?
Sure. I mean, you still hear double voices?
It's real good.
Okay. Go ahead. You ready?
I think I do.
Okay.
I remember you saying about 3, 4 weeks ago, Jimmy, that Italians weren't white. What color are you?
Well, you know
Seriously.
what? Look, our skin color is white, but we don't look at ourselves as white, because we're Italian. We come from the homeland, Italy. Some people are Sicilian, some people are Calabrese, some people are Napolitan. We're Italian descent. We're Americanized, but we're Italian descent.
It's like, you remember that scene in True Romance when Dennis Hopper told Walken that a black guy from Africa screwed his mother?
But you know what? Look, I remember that scene very clearly, and I love that movie, True Romance. My favorite character in that movie was Gary Oldman when he plays the pimp.
Yeah. And that was Gandolfini's first movie, right?
I'm not sure. It's a possibility. And he also played a great part.
Now, I want to ask you a couple other things, all right, Jimmy?
Go ahead.
I'm still hearing two voices, but hey, what the heck?
All right.
Now, you remember when the Con Ed guys came by to the Ravenite and they got the lady out from upstairs? Well, it was really FBI disguised as Con Ed, right? And they got her out of there. She was.
I remember that story, yes.
And it's amazing that happened, and Delacroce, Gotti, and Gravano let it happen. Yet you said when they came to your house, you said, "Fuck you, get out of here."
Well, the thing is, you know what? Like, my antennas were up. I had friends getting killed left and right. I didn't trust anybody, and sometimes when you don't trust nobody, that keeps you alive. Do you hear me? John?
Now, you did anybody ever try to get into the Bass crew like Donnie Brasco, like a fake undercover guy to infiltrate you guys?
No. I mean, I'm gonna tell you what's going on. You shooting flies over there? Okay, look. But let me tell you, you know what? You ready? I'll tell you, no one never had to get into the Bath Avenue crew.
Okay, I'm okay now, Jimmy.
All right, we're better.
So nobody ever tried that with you guys.
Well, no, I'm going to tell you why. Because look, I got pinched in May 10th of 1993 for a bank robbery. Okay, and after I got pinched in May, they end up killing Paulie Galino in July. Okay, after they killed Paulie Galino in his house, I mean, there's so many people undercover, and my friends weren't that smart enough not to get pinched. I mean, Joey Calco ends up killing a 19-year-old kid. I mean, you know what? There's so many unsolved murders in that neighborhood. Eventually, everyone had to get picked up. There was just too much going on.
But how could a bright guy like Sonny Black have been fooled by Joe Pistone? That couldn't have happened with you guys.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna tell you why.
Why?
Because when it comes down to money, people close their eyes. And he was a money guy. He liked to be involved in diamonds. You bring money in. If you bring money in, people they zip it. I don't care. The money's coming in. You know what? He's good with me. And they forget about all that.
And then Sonny Black, when he got called to that house, he knew he was going to get killed. I think he gave his jewelry or told somebody what to give to his wife or something, right? He knew he was going to get killed.
You know what? That's what they say. I was actually away with Frankie Lino, the old man. And he told me a lot of stories. I sat down with him and he told me a lot of stories. and he told me about that Sonny Black thing, how Sonny Black was a real man. You know, he knew he was going to get killed, and he walked right into that basement and he took that bullet.
Yeah. Now I had a friend in Brooklyn. I'm the guy who went to medical school downstate up there in Flatbush,
Okay, nice.
Boston Avenue.
Nice.
And I had a friend back there who was friends with Willie Boy.
Johnson.
Good friends with Willie Boy Johnson. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Why did Willie Boy stay in Brooklyn for a year before Patera killed him?
You know what? That's another thing. What happened was, you know, at this time, you know, John Gotti's going to trial, and it comes out from the prosecutor that Willie Boy is a CI and a confidential informant. That means he's getting information and he's feeding it to the prosecutor, but he's never going to testify. That's what a CI is. So that's a confidential informant that's hanging out with the crew, but he gives the information to the investigators and the prosecutor. Okay, so but he's never going to testify. Then all of a sudden it comes out, the prosecutor mentions that he's a CI. So Willie Boy is still in Brooklyn hanging out, and you know, he thinks that John Gotti is going to forgive him. But the thing is, you got to remember, Willie Boy was a stone cold tough guy.
Right.
You know, and he really didn't worry about nobody because he probably felt to himself, you know what? If I got to kill these guys, I'll kill them too. I mean, I don't care. He probably had a pistol. You know, he wasn't worried about these guys. But then, you know, but the funny thing is that I keep on talking about is that, you know, how Tommy Karate was loaned out to the Gambino crime family to commit a murder. I mean, me personally, you know, that is a sign of weakness for any family using another wise guy to kill someone in your family. And but I guess other guys will tell you different. I don't know. Maybe Sammy would say different. But, you know, that's...
Yeah, my friend tells me that Gotti told him Willie Boy had nothing to worry about. That's why he stayed in Brooklyn, working every day, and wasn't the wisest decision. I would have left town, right?
Oh, absolutely. He should have left town, 100%. Yep.
Anyway, Jimmy, God bless. I want to send a little something in. You still collecting money for Ray Ray?
Absolutely.
All right, I'll send some in today. Nice to chat with you, Jimmy.
John, thank you so much. God bless. Take care of yourself.
Yeah. Take care. You too.
Bye-bye. All right, guys. That was John Stolberg. I got a couple guys in here. Let me just take some of these guys out. Okay. Get them out. Let me talk to Ryan Brown. Alphonse, I see you over there, Alphonse. Let me talk to these other guys, okay? And then we'll get to you, okay?
Hey, Jimmy.
Ryan Brown, hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
How's everything?
Great to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
No, I just love your content.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Where you from?
And that message you sent me about my mother just really touched me.
Oh, you're welcome, man. And you know what? Look,
I just wanted to come on real quick before I got to go to work. But yeah, I just gotta love your message.
Listen, hey, just take care of
positive and stay. You know, don't glorify that life.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. And you know, look, every day I try to work on myself. I appreciate people like you. You know, we're all fighting some kind of battle in our life, whether it's someone that passed away and we miss, or you know, someone's fighting some kind of sickness or something. You know. But you know, thank you for joining us today. I appreciate your friendship, and you know, come on anytime you like.
God bless. And I just had one question for you. What type of person was Joe Benanti? Because I just always wondered what he was like as a person.
Joe Benanti was a character. I'll tell you, he was a real gangster. Back in his day, growing up, he always got into trouble. He used to commit armed robberies. And he told me one time, he said, "You remind me of myself when I was a kid." And he did a lot of time. He did like a 23-year bid. And then he got straightened out with the Bonanno family. And but Joe Benanti was very clever. He loved to smoke pot. And he used to walk up and down the avenue. And if he was drinking, he was one of those bad drunks. He would like to fight when he got drunk.
I never win.
All right. Yeah, and just thank you, Jimmy. And I'll just say one other thing.
What's that?
Just from what you've told me about Pauly G, and just I could see myself, just hanging out with you guys, because I've always been like the underdog, just born in a wheelchair, but God made me this way for a reason. And I don't pity myself. Never have, never will.
Well, you know what? Good for you. Look, stay strong. You know what? Give your message and your strength,
Right.
to others too. So,
All right.
but
Well, Jimmy, I gotta get going. I just wanted to jump on real quick.
thanks
All
for
right, have a
coming
blessed
on.
day.
Thanks for coming on, Ryan.
Bye.
Have a great day. All right. That was Ryan. Now, thank you, Jay Barron, for the 50. In the course of life, the thing is, we all have battles we are fighting. There's some things that are in your head that affected you at some time in your life, just like I have demons in my head that I fight. I miss a lot of people, thinking about your parents, they're not here no more. Sometimes I feel like I got ripped off in life. And life goes on. You got to continue to go on. And in the course of the day, just try to make those bad times in your life, the times you struggle, make you strong and stronger, and try to pass it on to someone else. I mean, look, life is a battle, man. I get up every day. I have to get up. I got to put my sneakers on, my boots on, your clothes. You got to go to work. You got to do what you got to do. And, it's not easy. That's for sure. But let me put Alphonse on, because I have Alphonse in the room. And, Alphonse has become a Sunday figure over here. I'm saying he's always showing up on Sunday. He's talking about the Lucchese crime family all the time. He has all these questions for me. I want to give a shout out to John Stolberg. Thank you for the 100. I appreciate it. I'll make sure Ray gets that 100. Okay, thank you. And getting back to Alphonse, he's here every Sunday. He's asking all these questions. I don't know if he's a journalist. This guy could be undercover. Who knows what this guy could be, right? We don't know what we're dealing with over here with this guy. But let's put him on. Let's check him out. Let's see what he's got to say today, okay? Alphonse.
It's great to see you, Mr. Calandra. How are you? And how is your family?
Everybody's good, thank you. I appreciate that. How about you? How's everything with you?
It's very good over here. We had snow here today in England. Mr.
Nice.
Calandra, I wanted to ask you. Firstly, I'm not a journalist. I'm definitely not undercover or anything like that.
I know you're not. I'm just making a joke out of it. I'm just getting a laugh.
I know. I just have a really big interest in the mob, and I have for quite a couple of years now. And to speak to you, it's a privilege. And then, like I always say, it's like an education almost about this stuff, because you're the real deal and you know all the top guys really. And I wanted to ask you today about life in FCI Otisville. Was it Otisville where Boat Barata, Mikey DeSantis, and the other Brooklyn guys in the Lucchese's were? You were with them right in there?
Yes, I was. I was with them all.
You were there with Georgie Zapola. Was he there?
Georgie Zapola at that time was not in Otisville. He got picked up after the fact with those guys. The guys that got picked up first was DeSantis, Bawat, Avellino, Lesterino, Gas Pipe. The two Georgies got picked up after.
How was life generally in FCI Otisville, being surrounded by DeSantis, Boat, Avellino, and even a guy like Gaspipe who was the underboss? How was life there?
I'll tell you, what? Look, looking back, because I was a young kid, I was a man growing up in prison. And those guys, look, they're the real deal, those guys. They really are. And Anthony Bawat loved to cook. You know, he owned a restaurant. He's from Harlem. He owned horses. He had a beautiful family. I had conversations with all these guys. And I used to be the kid that would get the microwave because we would use the microwave to cook. And Anthony Bawat, he would put all these vegetables in the microwave and he would saute them with, say, like soy sauce, some ingredients, and he would close the bag and I would put it in the microwave and it'll cook for maybe 20 minutes. And then we would boil pasta with a stinger and the water would boil and we get the pasta from the kitchen. We had people who worked in the kitchen we would buy pasta from, and they would boil the water and cook the pasta, and then you put the vegetables on top of the pasta. And it was look, looking back at those times, they were really fun times, and I'm glad I can talk about them, and share them with you because they're great memories in my head. And all those guys were really good guys. They really were. They looked out for me, and you know, you're not going to see guys like that anymore. You know, they were very experienced. They were very smart, and you know, they all took that number, that bid that they gave. I think it was 23 years or something. It was like a global plea, you know. But Sally Avellino was there. I got picked up at the time when the Colombos and the Lucchese's were both pinched, and there was a lot of Colombos and Lucchese guys in 1993 when I got picked up at MCC in Oldersville, traveling back and forth.
Thank you, Mr. Calandra. That's very interesting, especially about Boat and the vegetables. The inside stuff like that, I mean, it's just really interesting. I like those nitty-gritty details and what they were really up to. And I want to ask you about Michael DeSantis in FCI Otisville. Who did he associate with, and what did he do during his time in FCI Otisville?
Mikey liked to do a lot of walking. He smoked cigarettes at the time. I'm not sure if he's smoking cigarettes now. But when you go to jail, basically you start going on a health kick, you know, because you have nothing else to do. So you start walking the track a lot. And you know, and you pick and choose your company because you know, you don't want to just hang out with anybody and let anyone in your circle because you can't trust nobody, you know. But you don't know who's flipping, who's gonna flip. You know, there was a time where I tell you, one time in Oldersville, what happened was this is around the time Paulie Galino got killed in '93 of July, and this guy Frankie Joya comes to Oldersville. Frankie Joya, he ends up cooperating, so he comes into Oldersville, and you can see he's maybe depressed or something. You know, he's not acting right. So a lot of guys are saying stay away from him. So it's like they knew they were they knew he was cooperating, but they didn't have no paperwork on him yet. But he came there for maybe 2 weeks and then they shipped him out of there and he was gone. You know, so you know, in prison you got to be very careful of the company you keep because you know, people could get you in trouble in prison. You know, you got to stay around solid guys, you know.
When you were there in FCI Otisville, did you hang out a lot with Mikey DeSantis? Because you were associated with him through family, right? You called him Uncle Mike. So were you like close with him in there?
Yeah, my family will come up with his mom and dad at the time, you know, rest their soul. And we used to sit, and then there was this guy in Oldersville. This is the guy, the first time with the Twin Towers, the
Ramzi
Muslim.
Yusuf, was
Yeah,
it?
this guy, he was there too. And he would be sitting down, and there would be 4 federal agents sitting next to him as he was sitting down, and they would be tape recording him, you
Ooh.
know. So anything he said, they had a tape record it to make sure. They wanted to know every single detail of conversation he had with anyone that was visiting him. I
And
mean,
you actually saw him.
absolutely. Kidding me? He was
Uh,
sitting a table away from us, you know. My brother used to come up with my mother, and my mother actually brought me up a pair of sneakers on the visit. She wore a pair of my sneakers, and I switched with her on the visit, my mother. It was funny. But Mikey at that time was a captain in the Lucchese crime family, and my brother would come up and I would have fun with Mikey, and I would tell John, I said, look, he was a captain in the street. Look, now we could sit down with him, we could talk to him, stuff like that. And Mikey would just like pat me and say, stop it now, you know. But like I would have fun with him. I had fun with these guys. I respected all of them, but I did have fun with them.
that's very interesting, Mr. Calandria. I think on your channel you could make almost individual videos about all these guys that you met. I didn't even know you were like in FCA Otiswell. You were that close with Mikey. That's very interesting, and especially considering the fact of where he is today. Another
Yeah,
question.
Mikey, look, Mikey was like a part of my family, stuff like that. In that life, there is a couple uh decent guys. Look, they're in the position they're in because you know what, they deserve that position. I guess if the boss says, you know what, you're the boss, you know what, obviously he sees something in you. He sees trust, he sees strength, stuff like that. So, but he was a decent guy.
If you ever spoken with anybody at like Netflix, for example, or tried to get a TV show made about your life? Because seriously, I think you could make one hell of a show.
Well, you know what? Look, I appreciate that, and that's very kind of you. And you know what? That would be great if someone contacted me like Netflix and said, "Listen, let's do a TV series." But look, that's very unlikely because a lot of these Netflix and these companies, they're like crime families themselves. They want to change the story. They want to, have their own agenda of creating what they want, their content. But I would love for someone to get in touch with me. Absolutely. I do have some actors in mind to play certain characters that I knew and I grew up with. I could change some of the names and stuff like that. But it is a hell of a story. Hopefully, someone does pick it up. If not, someday it'll be told, I'm sure.
Mr. Calandria, I really believe that this is a story. Well, thank you for putting it on YouTube because that's a really big start. But I think Netflix or some sort of a book, it would be great because, for example, how many people out there seriously can say, in my story and no lie can put Michael DeSantis, Frankie Lastorino, Anthony Boat Barata, Gaspipe, Georgie Zappola, Frankie Bones, Georgie Conti, Jimmy Frogs. I mean, then the
And
list
these
just keeps
guys,
going on and on.
are all home now.
Of course,
You
so they could even be watching it themselves, but I'm
These
not sure how they would feel about that.
And I tell you, you know what? These guys are all serious guys.
Very.
They're all serious guys. And to survive that life in the street and to live that long, I'll tell you, you know what? You got to have some kind of smartness to you.
Yeah, they really do, especially guys like Mikey DeSantis. I think he stands out to me a lot, especially for the position he's in. But seriously, Mr. Calandria, this has to happen. I mean, you must make a TV show. And if you had to, who would you get to play Michael DeSantis, Frankie Lastorino, Boat? Those three guys. Off the top of
Oh,
your
I
head, who
can't,
would you
yeah,
get?
I can't tell you that, but I have ideas already, But yeah, I
That's
can't
good.
tell you that because I don't want to reveal all that information.
When you were in FCI Otisville, with the old timers like Boat and Frankie Lastorino, who did you ever get like any advice from those two guys? And if you did, how did they speak to you in there?
Oh, they were very polite to me. They were they basically groom you. They groom the young kids. You're a young guy, and you're hanging out with them. You're learning to be quiet when you have to be quiet. Don't open your mouth. Don't repeat anything. And if you're loyal to one of these guys, you stay loyal to them. You're not a fly by night. You're not all over the place. You know. But these guys, you're never going to see guys like this again. This is the last of the Mohegans. These guys. Now you got the new generation. It's a different ball game. But
You know,
but there was
yes.
but there was but there was a time when Sparrow did come to MCC, and he stayed in MCC for maybe 2 3 months in 1993. And there was some guy Pete Rose. He was a wise guy with the Bonanno family, and I was going back to pretrial in MCC, and he wanted me to give Sparrow some razor blades. And I saw Sparrow, I think on the 11th floor or the 9th floor, and I gave him the razor blades, and I kissed him hello. Anthony, this is from Pete Rose, and we spoke for a minute and stuff like that. But everything in jail is basically, a lot of people crack jokes. These guys are doing serious time, but in the course of doing that time, they're also making the best of it. So that's how it is.
That's some of those guys that you mentioned. They did a lot of time, and even you, as a youngster, you did time in Lewisburg, and I mean, it's not something to be like proud of, but you could say it is an achievement. I mean, you did it and you had organized crime on your sheet. I mean, this is a really big deal, and you survived your time there and you were associating with guys like Matty Madonna who done tons of years in jail. And it's insane how the mind can almost handle day by day in situations like that. And you're right, they're the last of the tough guys in that life. They really are.
Yeah, they really are. They're the last of the brains in that life.
But for guys like currently today, Anthony Boat Barata, he's been taken off the shelf by DeSantis, and he's around 83, 85 years old. He's around that sort of age. He's in his 80s. I know that for a fact. But having a guy like him out there, I'm not sure how active he is. I know he's off the shelf, but if you put a young guy under Boat in currently today in 2021, don't you think that a guy like Boat can school him, groom him to be like a good member of that life?
Yeah.
Or is it gone?
You know what? I'm going to tell you. Look, this is the thing. Anthony Bawat, whether he's shelved and he's not involved in the mob no more, he's the type of guy that might have a couple guys around him that he could put up, meaning he could recommend to someone in the family, say like Mikey or an underboss or something, and say if they want that life. Understand? He could put them in that life and make them progress very quick in the family. So that's what those old timers are good for. They can still teach you on the side. You can be friendly with them, and if you want to be in that life, you know what? All they have to do is introduce you to somebody, and they vouch for you. So that's a big. He's still got a big. He's got a lot of clout. He's got a lot of juice. Those guys.
Boat was actually there in November of 1989 when DeSantis was inducted by Vicar Musso. Boat was one of the capos who surrounded the table, and seeing them both active today is almost insane. But today Boat, he's still at Rayo's in East Harlem. You must know of that restaurant, right? It's his favorite restaurant.
Of course, absolutely.
I mean, if you went there today, chances are you could probably end up seeing him. He spends a lot of his time there. He really likes it there.
Oh yeah, of course, absolutely. He's Anthony's a gangster. He's gangster, and he's smart and stuff like that. And he's a money guy. He's one of those heroin guys back in the day.
In October of 2020, I think it was, the Manhattan U.S. Attorney, a leak came out, and it said that from Gangland News. Are you a fan of Jerry Capisci?
Jerry Capici's good. I like him.
He said that the Manhattan U.S. Attorney's Office for the past 2 years were in 2020 were building a blockbuster. That was the words he used, blockbuster racketeering case against Michael DeSantis and Patty Della Russo. And how do you feel about that?
Well, you know what? Unfortunately, you have crime fighters out there. You have law enforcement that are going to watch you if you're on the street and you're doing the wrong thing. These guys belong to a family. Me, I'm not going to hurt them. But say you got a guy like John Panisi. He, was strained out. He's a May guy in the Lucchese crime family. I don't know too much about John Panisi. I know he's from Queens. He's not from Brooklyn. But he ended up getting straightened out with the Lucchese family. And once he got straightened out, they put him with a guy in Brooklyn or Staten Island, some wise guy in Staten Island in a Brooklyn crew.
Big
Now,
John Castellucci.
yeah, put him with Big John. Okay, I don't want to mention his name, but yeah, they put him with Big John. His brother's Gene, and he's got another brother. But these guys. So you're going from Queens to Brooklyn, and now you're reporting to a guy you really don't know, and there's so much you could trust these guys, because there's a lot of jealousy in the mob. One guy could say one bad thing about you, and that will stay on you forever. They'll just, repeat it. Yeah, this guy's no good. And then by the time you know it, the guy's dead somewhere and they're, talking bad about him, that he was a rat or something, because this is what goes on in the street, but he ended up going out of the life, whatever he did. But now he's on, YouTube, as we know, and he's telling stories. So I'm sure they have their attorneys that are watching this guy 24/7, every story he tells, because they're going to probably repeat it if they ever do pinch, Big Mike and Patty Della Russo. I'm sure their attorneys are going to have all this footage of him telling stories. So whatever he says on the stand better match what he said before, because that's, what the attorneys are probably doing right now, taking all their information and stuff like that. Well, listen, Alphonse, let me let you go. It's always good talking to you.
Mr. Calandra, one last thing. I have something for you. It's not a question. It's just that, you've been very generous to allow me to ask all these questions and come on almost weekly. And are you aware of the app called TikTok?
Yes.
I have a mob page on there. It's got about 95,000 followers, and I want to make that page available to you. If you want to.
What do you want to do? You want to shout it out? Okay, tell everybody, shout it out.
No. For you, Mr. Calandra, like for example, if there is something that you would want me to put on there about you or something, I would be more than happy to do so. And previously, a while back, I did make a post about you on there. I posted about the time you spoke about Joji Goggles Conte killing someone and how he put the gun in the sewer. Victor Filicomo, that part, it got over 10,000 views.
Yeah, Victor Filicomo, they said that he was an undercover, a CI. I'm not sure if he was a CI, but Georgie Conti walks in a club on 13th Avenue. I'm not sure who he's with, and he sees the guy over there sitting down at the table. He walks right up to him, pops him in the head, tells whoever was in the club, he tells them clean this mess up, and he just walks out and he takes off, and he ends up throwing one of the guns in the sewer somewhere 11th Avenue or 13th Avenue, and I think they found the gun later on, stuff like that. But yeah, that's a story that yeah.
Mr. Calandra, I would like to make that page available to you. If there's ever a time that you want me to put something out there on there for you, for your YouTube channel or whatever, I'd be more than happy to do so. You've been very generous with me and I'd like to say another big thank you to you for answering these questions that I have. Thank you very much, Mr. Calandria.
Take care, Alphonse. Take care of yourself, and thank you for being respectful. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a great day, Mr. Calandria.
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right, so that's Alphonse. Okay, he's out of the studio. I got a couple people over here. I got this guy over here. He looks like he's a character. Joey Piccolino. He's got glasses, a mustache. Mo Lucy. Let me talk to this guy right here. Yo, Mo Lucy, what's up? Oh, you're done. That's it. See, you're done. Okay. Some guys like to play games, but guys, yeah. So I don't know. A lot of people think that Alphonse is a little creepy and stuff like that. I see the comments. Me personally, I think Alphonse is sincere. He's just writing things down. I think he likes, you know, these mob stories and these characters of certain guys. Let me see who this guy. Eddie G isn't crazy. Let me see what's up with him.
Jimmy boy, how you doing, pal?
Eddie G, what's up, pal? How are you?
Jimmy,
How are you?
pretty good, pretty good. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Alphonse, he's an undercover Fed. That's number one.
Hey, you might be right, but you know what? Listen, I'm not committing no murders with him, so he can talk to him.
You gotta love these kids. You know, I grew up in North Jersey. I'm a couple of years younger than you. So I read the books. I know some of the players through other players. But you got to get a kick out of some of these people that from England, from Australia. The one guy you can't pry the beer can out of his hand. He's talking to you from Ireland. I love these people. They're great. But you're doing a good thing. I love what you're doing, pal.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So what's your story? What do you do for a living?
I am a veteran, home disabled veteran. You actually sent me a T-shirt way back when.
Okay, beautiful. Thanks
You
for
know?
serving, man.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I'm replanted in Brooklyn, Canarsie, and you know, but all my friends. I mean, I used to cop weed in Bay Ridge. What can I tell you? I'm from Bayonne originally. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So we knew Brooklyn had the best skunk weed on the planet back in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
We knew where to go. I laughed about this story when you said these guys went to Jersey. You would sell them weed, and then you beat them for 20 pounds with the shootout. You remember that story?
Yeah.
By Caesar's Bay Bazaar?
Yes, I do remember the story. I actually got arrested for that.
Yes, I remember you telling the story.
Yes.
I used to come back. I used to hear people used to go to Brooklyn and come back to Jersey. We got beat again. They would go there. They would cop once or twice, come back. You know, oh, good, we got a plug. We got a plug. They'd step up the money. They go to Brooklyn. They come back with empty pockets. We used to laugh all the time, man.
Yeah. But yeah, those are the days back in you know, growing up and doing business with a couple Jersey kids.
Sure.
Now, you know, sometimes, you know, I know it wasn't right robbing these guys.
Yeah, sure.
You know, it's just something that it's a part of the street. I'm saying sometimes you're making a deal. Sometimes the deal goes good, but you know what? There's a lot of times the deal goes sour. You know, and that's something about the street. There ain't no rules to that street because you don't know what's gonna happen. You know, so
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, those are, you know, those are long times ago and a lot of memories.
You know, when these guys talk and you hear the stories, now everyone's coming out with a book, and like you said, these podcasters, we weren't allowed. Like even guys on the street, I was considered a knockaround guy. If I knew how to shut my mouth, I could hang out. You know what I'm saying? But times are different now. And where I grew up in Bayonne, I'd be on the street corner and I'd be pitching quarters against the store window, try to get money for a quart of beer, hanging out with guys 10 years older than me. You know, I'd be like 10, they'd be like 16. I thought they were King Kong, you know? But that's how we learned. And we always stuck together. And now you have people that don't do that no more. This culture's gone. Like we're the last. It's over now.
Yeah, it's over. That's it. You know, times have changed. Everything is the phone now.
Sure.
You know, everywhere, everything's the phone. Wherever you go, you got the phone with you.
Absolutely.
And, you know, my kids all day long, they're on the iPads and the phones and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a totally different world, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, listen, keep going. God bless. I pop in every now and then. I write you a little note. I'm sure you don't. I appreciate what you're doing. And there's a lot of garbage on YouTube. So if I want to hear about some old stories and some nostalgia stuff, I go to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And you know what? These kids, they glorify this stuff, and they don't know what it's like, you know, when you're in the room by yourself, when you got your notepad and pen, and, you know, where's the glory then, you know, when you're eating ramen noodles and you're trading commissary, you know, or someone, that's the shit that they need to hear, the reality. You and Sammy talk about that.
And the thing is, you know, look, you talk about this, and I look back. Okay, I went away. I did a small bid. I was 19. I went away for 3 months. Rikers Island. So, but the thing is, then I went away 23 years old for a bank robbery. So what I'm saying is that at that time, I broke my mother's heart You know, my father was in Manhattan. I also broke his heart. And
Sure.
every day my mother had to wake up, and she knew I was in the penitentiary at the age of 23, 24 years old. And you know what? She didn't know if I woke up alive or dead. And so that's the message to these kids. You know,
Amen.
don't fuck up your life. Make the right decisions. And you know what? Don't do like I did, because you know what? I can't go back. Now I got to live with everything I did. You know, I got almost close to 14 years in prison. And looking back, I could have used that as schooling, and I probably could have got my master's degree, you know, and did
Yes.
something with my life. But you know what? It is a waste of life, because you could make one mistake. You could hurt somebody really bad, or you could kill somebody, and you're sitting in a prison cell for the rest of your life, and you're saying, wow, what the fuck did I do to myself?
Yep.
You know?
Absolutely.
And not only do you destroy your life, but you're destroying someone else's life, and the people who love you, you disappoint them, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you kind of show a lot of kids, and now I guess we get a little bit wiser after we're over the age of 40. But you didn't quit. You didn't say, I screwed up my life. I went to prison. Now I'm not accepted by the mob. I'm not going to be accepted by society. You kept your chin up, your chest out, one foot in front of the other. And look, you're working. You got a house. You got kids. You got things. That's the lotto. That's the lottery.
Oh, you're right. You know
That's
what?
the fucking lotto.
That's better than the lottery. Yeah,
You're
absolutely.
damn right.
That's better than winning a lottery ticket, 100%. If you don't have your freedom, you know what? All those guys that are sitting in prison, and you know what? I'm sorry that
It sucks. Yeah.
you know, it sucks, but you have to say it the way it is. You know what? There's nothing like your freedom. There's nothing being able to do what you want. Whether you can walk out the door, you can eat anything you want, take a shower anytime you want, and spend company with the people you love and care about. You know, that's the most important thing in life. And also, you know what? Look, I'm at a different point in my life now. You know, I'm starting to, you know, I want to talk to God more. I want to do better, you know, and stuff like that. And just, you know, I'm 52 years old. I want to teach my kids the proper way. And, you know, look, you know, life is hard. Sometimes you have obstacles you got to overcome.
Amen.
You know,
listen, they say it's not how you start, it's how you finish.
Right, absolutely.
So with that, listen, God bless. I'll continue to listen. Love you too, Alphonse. Have a good Sunday, Jimmy. God bless.
Eddie G, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Pal.
All right, bye. That was Eddie G. Well, hey guys, let me give a couple shout outs. Boston J, I see in the chat. Dell is my name. Johnny Boy, Joe Delamora, Jimmy Cosenza, and Pazzo. What's up, Pazzo? Let me see what this guy Buffer has to say. He has a mask on. Let me see who he is.
What's up, Jimmy? What's going on, buddy?
How's everything?
Everything's good. Now, happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah. What's up, pal?
Dude, first off, I want to apologize. I make a lot of jokes on everybody. Please don't take it seriously, man. You're one of the good ones. I actually believe you're one of the good ones.
Well, I hope so.
And I enjoy your content very much.
Thank you.
Do you know? So I have a couple questions.
Go ahead.
You know any of the Jackalonis?
The Jackalonis, what, from Detroit?
From Detroit.
No, I don't know them. I just know what I heard of them and what I read. But no, I know none of them. No.
Oh, because I grew up with them. I was wondering if you knew them.
No, I don't know them. I'm 52 years old. They were a little older than me, but they're like legends over there in Detroit. I know that.
Yeah, I was at Jack's house as a kid all the time. And I'll tell you something. They were the nicest, most giving people, because I'm half Jewish, half Catholic.
Okay.
Nicest people I've ever met. But they had guards outside of their, like, sitting on the porch. Like,
I'm sure they did. I'm sure they needed some protection, you know. Back in those days, there was a lot of rivalries going on.
Yeah, the Tocos and everybody was fighting for power. It was crazy. Yep. And the mom was always cooking food, always.
Well, that's all. Yeah, that's all the Italian mothers, you know, always cooking. That brings everyone to the table, you know.
So, do you know any of the Purple Gang?
You know what? The Purple Gang, you know, I know they started in Detroit. I don't know too much about them out there, I know a couple of the Purple Gang that was in Harlem, you know, those guys, but no, I really don't. I don't read up too much about these guys. You know, I'm not a mafia historian. I'm just basically, you know, I grew up surrounded by wise guys. And, you know, as you know, I was a part of the Beth Avenue crew. My friends were nuts. We did some crazy shit when we were growing up. A lot of things that destroyed all our lives. But you know, there's a lot of history with all this mob stuff in all these cities. You know, back then the mafia were very strong. You know, they had an arm that was very long. You know, and today it's more weakened.
That's because they made it weak themselves. They
Yeah,
didn't. They didn't adapt.
yeah, I could. And you know, what, it's also like, say for instance, a guy Detroit. You mentioned Jack Maloney's. So they stopped making guys over there. Understand? So when you stop making guys, eventually the mob is gonna disintegrate. There ain't gonna be no more mob. Understand? So you got to keep on making guys. That's how you keep the mob strong. You got to keep on making guys. Guys go to jail. Okay, other guys are up. You know, so when you stop making guys, then you know what? Who's gonna do anything if you're not teaching the young kids the right way and giving them guidance, you know, guidance and stuff like that? Then you know what? Then you know it's all destroyed.
Well,
But
if you open up the book, someone's take is gone. And sorry for the mask. I got babies here. My cousin's babies are here.
yeah,
So.
that look, that's fine. But you know, it is what it is. But
Like, what would you do because if you open the books and make people, that's taking revenue away from other people.
well, you know, if you open up the books, first of all, you're gonna have to get approval from some kind of family that has credibility and power behind you. You know, you're not going to just open up a book because eventually someone's going to hear, who the hell are these people? You got to be recognized. Whatever you do, you got to be recognized by other families. If you're not recognized, then you're just a nobody.
But like, say, it's like someone opens the book, and this is how the Purple Gang did it when they kind of had made members, but the Bernsteins are in my family. They were some of the people that started it. So it's like if when they opened it, someone got a part of someone's racket. If someone was in jail, they got a part of that. Like, so they lost a revenue stream with every made member who was under somebody.
Well, you know what the problem is with the mob is that today, if a guy gets a life sentence, whatever he has on the street, most likely it's either he's going to get it or someone's going to take it. You know, there ain't no honor no more. I'm saying there ain't no friendship. I'm saying we're two, you know what I mean? We're a whole bunch of guys, you know what? Okay, these are the rules that we have to live by. Once you start breaking the rules, there is nothing no more. Understand? There's certain rules to that game you have to live by. If you don't live by them, then you know what? It's a god. I mean, who wants to be a part of it? I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying, but I think it's more like the reason for Detroit, at least, I think it's because they just didn't want to, they wanted a higher revenue stream, because like, look, they had Eastern Market on lock. They like, they had everything coming in, and the new kids didn't, come on, who would make a new kid today? These kids don't know nothing.
Well, you know what? That's the thing. So eventually, look, it is going to die down because, you know, all that street clout and all the street kids, you ain't going to see them no more because now you got these computers in front of them. They're called phones. They're computers, you know, and you have a different mindset than the street and the gutter. So you're not getting taught the right way. So eventually, all the mob is going to disappear. They're not going to be strong. Maybe in Italy and other countries, they'll have their mob, the Russian mob and stuff like that. But over here, eventually it's going to die down. The computers are going to die it down. You know, it's going to disappear. In 100 years from now, it ain't even going to be here no more. It's going to be gone.
So what do you think about drug dealing and the role, the way the cartels in Mexico have been able just to keep control over everything?
Well, you know what? I really don't know much about that stuff, about the drug dealing. Me personally, I'm totally against drugs. I don't you know, it destroys a lot of lives. And you know, now you got this fentanyl that's killing everybody. And you know, I know nothing about that either. It's just it's crazy. All these new drugs that are coming out, but all these kids are dying from it. They're destroying people's lives, people's families. So yeah, I'm totally against that shit.
I mean, I'm against it too, but I mean, like, the way the cartels have a hold in Mexico, even though they're all warring with each other,
Yeah, they
how
got.
do you, how do you think they still maintain control?
The thing
Is
is,
it
though,
just fear?
absolutely, of course, fear and money.
So what made the United States stop fearing the mafia? What, Rico snitching?
Well, it's because they found out so much about it. When you got these mob bosses coming forward, we could go back to the guy that came forward. He was in the Genovese, Joe Valachi. Okay,
Okay.
we go back to Joe Valachi. He's one of the first guys that cooperated with the government, and he told them the whole thing about the Bagada, the whole thing about the mafia, how you get straightened out. You start out as an associate, you move up as a soldier. Then, if you're lucky, if you're good enough, you become a captain, and so on and so on, and how the money gets funneled up to the guys upstairs, and how all the families were back then. You had a family in every city back then. That's how strong the mob was, And once you start knowing all the secrets, look, the mob used to have the garbage trucks. They had the garment district. They had all these legitimate businesses. Now the government has them. The government's taken over a little at a time. you know. So you can't beat the government. When you have that piece of paper that has your name on it, it goes like this. Look, the United States of America versus you. So that's all their armies against you. You ain't gonna win. I'm saying very small percentage. And the thing is, who wants to be involved in that life? You lose your freedom, it's garbage. But you know what? Those guys that are in Mexico, those are very fearful guys. You got to be afraid of them because they're willing to kill anybody, that gets in their way.
But so was the mob at one point, and now the mob stopped because they realized it was bad for business.
Well, you know what? Because it's a life bid now. It's just lights out. They put you in jail forever.
Okay, I get it. I guess nowadays you just have to be like, the only way to actually make it is be innovative.
Yes, absolutely. You have to be you got to be smart.
In Detroit, what they're doing is all these abandoned houses. Everybody was leaving Detroit for a while. They were selling for $1, like 4-bedroom houses in Detroit. And
I would love to buy that.
Yeah, but you have to pay the property taxes, and that's based on what the state tells you got.
I'll tell you, I was in Detroit. My brother-in-law Bruce, many years ago, he passed away of cancer, and rest his soul. But he had a contract with T-Mobile back then, and he would slap me with a stack of money, and he would send me down to Detroit, and I would drive down there, get a rental car, and drive down to Detroit. Okay, and what I used to do is I would go to Home Depot, get some people to help me put these door handles on the doors for T-Mobile. So we would do 10 stores at a time in locations over there. I went to Detroit. I saw Detroit, and Detroit is flat. Okay, and I saw the homes over there, and you got the border where you go straight over the bridge to Canada. Okay, and what happened was my brother ends up going over the bridge to Canada, and he don't realize he has pot on him. They end up pulling him over. And he was with a friend of his, and they tell him, wait here. So instead of waiting, they just made a U-turn and went right back towards Detroit. But
Detroit cops don't care.
Yeah. But let me tell you, Detroit, it's a tough city. I'll tell you that. Very tough. It's a tough city. And I went down to the casino over there, and in all honesty, look, I saw all these thugs and tough guys. I have some friends in Detroit. I have a friend Cotton, a friend Tank, and a friend Deadeye. Okay, they're all black guys. Okay, they're friends of mine. and they're all stand-up guys. But listen, they are tough out there. Detroit is a tough city. Okay, it ain't no joke. That's for sure.
Yeah, thank God for my Second Amendment. You know
Yep,
what I mean?
exactly. You need that.
Did you go to
But
Greektown?
also, what happened was let me tell you a story. What happened was I was with my brother, and I had a rental. I was driving a rental. I had a nice expedition rental, and I pulled over to get gas in the middle of nowhere in Detroit. It was like maybe 11:30 at night. The guy at the gas station goes like this. He said, "What are you doing here?" He said, "Get the fuck out of this neighborhood." Meaning, you know what? You're crazy because of the color of our skin. I'm saying, he said, "Get the fuck out of here," you know. And he told us, he said, "You know what? Get your gas and go." He says, "I don't want no trouble over here." So listen, Detroit's a tough city.
Yeah, gas stations are bad to go to.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go.
It's like, all right, if you went to Greektown, if that was the casino, I think it's called Jack's now, and think about why it's called Jack's Casino now.
Yeah. But over there too, what you have is you have I think you got Coney Island. I think you got the Coney Island hot dogs out there too, right?
Yeah, we got.
Am I correct? Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can
you
you
got
hear
the
me?
Coney Island hot dogs out there, right?
Yeah, Coney Islands.
Yep.
Yeah, we got Coney Islands. We got like Buddy's Pizza, White Castles.
Yeah, we got White Castles too. You know, we got a Coney Island, but you know, the original Coney Island.
Yeah. But check this out. What they're doing. This is how smart these today mobsters, like the old heads, are. So they're buying these houses for $1, and then they're demolishing them. Then they pay the property tax, which is worth less. And you can buy whole blocks. You can even, like, if it's through the road and you own the whole thing, and they can take down that road that goes through it and make a detour. They have detours that go nowhere now. And so what they're doing is they're buying all this. A lot of the Russian mafia is doing this too. Most of the Russian mafia is doing this. So they'll buy all this property, demolish the homes, pay the property taxes, and then they'll make garbage weight, like recycling and waste dumps on the properties that they buy.
But isn't it amazing that at one time Detroit was one of the wealthiest cities?
Yeah, it was. Now Oakland County, like the county next to Wayne.
There's a big building over there. What building is it called? It's closed down now. It had all the maker of the cars. I don't know what building it is, but
the Ford building.
What is it?
There's a Ford building.
Maybe it's a possibility, but it's a huge building, and but that city, I tell you, that's a beautiful city, and it's a shame because I know it has a lot of rundown neighborhoods. You know,
they're completely desolate, and they're charging Canada to take a premium to take Canada's garbage, so they're making like 40% on taking the garbage from Canada.
What they're trying to do is they're trying to build a community.
That's the mafia. I mean, the mafia is doing this. They're making tons of money. And it's like, it's unbelievable how smart you have to be now to make any kind of money without any violence or without putting yourself out there in a way that makes you sing.
Yes. But Buffer, look, it was nice talking to you.
I'm sorry.
It was nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you too, man.
And thanks for coming on, pal.
Pleasure. Take it easy.
Bye-bye. Okay. Now, let me talk to Big Lou. I haven't spoken to Big Lou in a while. Let me see what he's up to. Oh, this is Thomas Russo. Thomas Russo, you there?
Yeah, how are you?
What's up, Thomas?
Yo, everything's good. How about you?
Good.
Hey, you have a cousin or a brother that went to Dyker Heights?
Probably.
Older than you, maybe?
No, not older than me.
Oh, okay. Must be somebody different.
Yeah. Okay, let me get Big Lou in here.
Hey,
Big Lou, what's
Jimmy.
up?
What's up, Jimmy?
How's everything?
All right, man. About to eat dinner, breakfast, or lunch, whatever you call it. late lunch. It's 2:30.
What are you eating?
The wifey went and got some Togos.
Nice.
Everybody in the house is like, "Don't put us on the camera." I said, "You ain't gonna be on the camera. It's me. It's only showing me." Anyways,
Yeah.
I came on here, man, because that dude, what's his name? AC.
Yeah.
AC. Yesterday, he pissed me off. Boy, I was so pissed last night. You know, he said anybody that watches the show is a rat, right? Well, check this out, motherfucker. I ain't no rat. And if I seen you in person, I'd slap the shit out of you. I don't like talking like this, but when you say something like that, you know what I mean? And here he's on the fucking show, and he's on lives, but yet, what? He's on the outside looking in, and everybody's watching as a rat, but he's not. That shit rubbed me the wrong way, man, big time. I was so pissed last night. You probably seen my comments, right?
Yeah. No, look, you know what? And this is the thing. A guy like him, his mindset is in the street. You know, back in 1980, that's his mindset. So
Right.
he's not living in the 21st century. This guy.
Right.
So you know, that's the mindset of the people in that neighborhood. You know, right away you talk to somebody or you're on the internet, you're a rat. That's a stupid mindset because this is the future. We're in the future. This guy's in the past.
Right. And then, you know, he kind of, you know, you handled that situation really well. So I have to tip my hat to you on that. But if it was me, I don't think I would have handled it so well. But the fact, you know, when you got real serious, I don't know if you noticed this, but you got serious and you got closer to the screen, right? And he kind of, I'm not going to say he switched up, but he kind of he kind of changed his tune a little bit. You know what I mean? You know, you never said you were anybody like that. You know, he tried to say, oh, you were nobody. You never said that you were a made member.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You said you grew up, you knew people, they were older than you. You got, you know, you guys were becoming groomed. They were grooming you guys and, you know, things like that. But he kind of like was saying it both ways, you know, oh yeah, Jimmy, this and that, but then you weren't nobody, you know, I didn't dig all that. Keep it one way, man. Don't be wishy-washy about shit. You know what I mean?
This is what he's doing. What he's doing is most likely he's in contact with someone from the street. And what he's doing is he's calling in because someone told him to.
Yeah,
you know? So back in the neighborhood, these people that were once in the neighborhood, they try to control other people's lives. And they think they could barge in on your life because that's how the neighborhood used to be. Anyone could just barge into your life. But that's why I always say, if you knew me 30 years ago, you don't know me today because I grew. Okay. And I grew a lot. So
I like what you told him though. He said, if I would have met you back then, I don't know how exactly you said it, but pretty much I would have either you would have robbed him or you would have busted him over the head, and probably both. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he didn't know what to say. But you know what? Look, in all honesty, back then, look, he wouldn't have said nothing. He probably wouldn't have even said hello to me.
Yeah. That's the thing. See, even in my book, I've only been out of prison. July will make 5 years. 2022 July, I've been out 5 years, and I haven't been out that long in a long time. And I got a job. I'm working. I'm able to put money away. I bought me a classic car. I sold it. I bought me another one. You know, I'm still in an apartment, but I'm working on it. You know, I'm getting into a bigger place. But people like, if you take me 10 years ago, man, I'm way different now. You know, even though I do lose my temper every now and then, it's nothing like I was before. And these people that come on here and make these comments, you know, that's one thing I can't say with John A. Light does say with some of these people, they never been to, you know, never done time, never been to on the streets doing things. That's correct, but that's not everybody. Some people do talk out of their ass. You know what I mean? You know, you won't ever catch me on here calling nobody a bitch or a punk, because those are fighting words, right? Those are words those are serious words. You say that to somebody, that means you're going to fight or take it even further than that. And I'm in California, and whoever I might want to say that to might be in New York or Pennsylvania or wherever, Florida. We're not going to see each other, so there's no need for that. So I even, like I said, the little statement I made, if I seen him, I'd slap him. I don't even feel comfortable saying that because the fact is he's wherever he's at and I'm where I'm at. But you know what? That shit just rubbed me the wrong way. And I'm going to leave it at that with that. And another thing is these people that don't show their faces, man, it really fucking irks me bad too. They talk shit, but they won't show their face. You know what I mean? Coward.
I'm not gonna put them on. If they don't show their face, they're not gonna come on. That's it.
Yeah, but I'm talking about some of these other people that have a platform and they're talking about, oh, well, they're doing a radio channel. It's not a radio channel. This is YouTube. You know what I mean? This is YouTube. They might have a radio channel too, but this is YouTube. You got your face blinking away or whatever picture you got every time you speak, but you won't come on. I don't dig that.
Because they're so afraid of someone taking their photo and putting it on a thumbnail or using it on a different platform because that's what they do.
Yeah, but I don't think that. I think it's more that they're just straight cowards. They don't want nobody to recognize their face.
To do with it too.
So they can be, talk. So you can get back at them. One quick thing. This morning, Tony Pizza went on real early. It was about 5 o'clock here, so it was about 8 o'clock wherever in the east. And somebody said something about a hitter and a gangster, and he goes, "Oh, go on with that shit." And then I commented, I go, "Hitter, gangster, you're neither one of them." And he goes, "I never said I was." And that's all I said. And he blocked me. He blocked me where first he put me on timeout where the video paused, and then he blocked me where I couldn't even comment. And that's all I said. So come on, if he's gonna block me for that, you know what I mean? I was talking shit and I told him, drop a link. I'll come on. I'm not hiding for nothing. I got factual things to say and I won't disrespect you by cussing or nothing like that. He wouldn't put me on.
Well, yeah, but this is a guy that is actually putting other people's information on the internet and he's putting their addresses and their phone numbers, which that's some coward shit.
Yeah.
I mean, and they're calling people's families up and threatening them. And this is what, YouTube has become. It's a freak show. And anyone who stands behind a guy like that is just like that guy. They're a piece of garbage, And this is a guy that also spoke so bad about the fire department, the police department at 9/11. These people are running into buildings, saving people's lives, and he's knocking these people. I mean, so this is a trash can. That's what he is, a trash can.
Yeah, he's a toilet bowl, like you guys call him, the toilet bowl. I don't even want to talk about the guy no more because he ain't even worth it. But just because it's kind of weighing on me a little bit too. Tom, I'm in contact with Tom. I talked to Tom, and they decided to do what they were gonna do, what they're doing, and it has nothing to do with that dude extorting, telling him what to do, nothing like that. You know what I mean? But for the fact that this guy says, well, I didn't say the kid anything about his child, but the fact is you didn't say nothing against it. You know what I mean? Now, any real man, is kids and old people and women too are off limits. You know what I mean? Straight up. I'm from the West Coast. It's off limits. Same thing in the East Coast.
And the thing is, look, you don't talk about people's families, and if someone's dead, you don't talk about, like you say, are good or dead. I mean, these people are dead. I mean, you don't talk about these people, I mean, have some kind of morals, some kind of respect, some kind of value to your name.
That was the first thing that pissed me off that AC said yesterday. He said, "Oh, you disappointed me because I guess that lady, you said something about that lady. But you know what? You know that lady personally. This ain't just some lady. She mentioned your kids and mentioned some stupid shit along with your children in the same sentence. So what do you mean? It's a lady. You disappointed me. You know what I mean? Well, I don't know what world this dude's living in. You know what I mean? You don't bring children up. These are innocent kids that are children, not 20-year-old kids. They're children, elementary school kids.
And for a grown up person, a woman, a man, to even attack me through my children or through my family or someone I love, that's some low life, low ball shit.
Yeah, and the fact is, that lady, you know her, she knows you. It's a different. It's not just like she's some lady just popped up and she said something, she attacked you, you attacked her back. No, this is somebody you know she's involved with whatever she's involved because you know her. But the fact that he brought that up when your children are involved, why is that okay? Like I said, your children ain't grown.
Yep,
they're not grown children. These are kids,
yep. Exactly.
10, 12 years old. And that's just, I don't agree with that. He needs to, I don't know, man. I don't know what he needs to do, but he needs to go somewhere with that bullshit. You know what I mean? And,
thanks.
Yeah. Alphonse is he's a real polite, gentleman, man. He's a real. He's very, he said he's interested in the Lucchese's. You know what I mean?
You
But
could tell. Yeah, you could tell he's a very educated, very well spoken, soft spoken, and he's very into this mob thing with the Lucchese's and these guys, because in all honesty, you're not going to see guys like that no more.
no,
These are guys that are controlling the family now, and
yeah,
they're out,
Sapola and DeSantis and
yeah,
De La
you know,
Rosa. They all got broke off like what 20, 25 years each, huh?
They all copped out to a global plea of, I
Yeah.
think it was maybe 22 or 23 years, and they
Is
all
that
had to
Ray-
take it. So there was like a dozen of them that all took it.
Right. So that was Sapola and Conti,
Yes.
De La Rosa. Yeah. Okay. And then was Ray Argentina in that too?
I think Ray Argentina was away already.
Okay, he's out also. So
Yeah.
yeah. Somebody had brought up one time if a Musso passes away, where do you think they go? And they said that they believe that that Lastarino would be taken off the shelf and he'd probably be up there as far as maybe advisor, senior advisor or something like that, or maybe even the consigliere. I don't know. But I would
Yeah,
think
these
after
guys,
all these years, he would just continue living his life out as a grandpa and great grandpa and all that. I would think more
yeah,
headaches than it's worth,
yeah, these guys are in the background. They're always there if they need some kind of advice. Look, this is how it goes. When you're doing big numbers in prison and you come home, that builds respect in the underworld. Okay,
Yeah.
whatever organization you are in. Okay,
Exactly.
so that's respect. When you could do time like that and you hit the street, now it's time to pay you back. This is the position you're in. Now you have other guys reporting to you. You know that, I know that, in any organization you're in.
Yep.
When you're doing
time, sorry about that. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
Yeah, when you're doing time, that builds respect.
Yeah. The Sapola, who's the one that's running Jersey? Is that Sapola or Conti, they say?
They say Georgie's in Jersey. He's a
Sapola, right? Sapola?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they said that when he got out, it was one of them, either Conti or him. When he got out, somebody had a big, nice chunk of change for him when he got out.
You know what? I'm sure all these guys had a couple dollars, waiting for them.
Yeah.
You have a lot of guys in that family with a lot of money, and they were in that circle. So, they just have to reach out to a certain guy and say, listen, you know what? I ain't got nothing,
Well, this was supposed to be a partner of his that they had did business with years back and were continuing to do business, I believe. And he was the one that had a chunk of change for I believe it was Sapola. If it wasn't Sapola, it was Conti, but it was one of the Georgies.
Yeah.
But you know Frank Lasarino personally, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So did you think he would come out from the shelf and do that after all these years?
No, I think he's
smarter than that.
Yeah, I think his reign is over. He's an old timer now. He could give you advice, but he don't want anything to do with it. It's behind him. He's an older man, and now it's new blood.
He's got to be in his mid-70s, right? At least. Maybe older, huh?
Probably in his early 80s.
Yeah. Because what's his name? Musso's got to be 85, 83.
Yeah, I was with him in Lewisburg,
right?
93, 94, 95. So we're going back. Yeah, we're going
27,
back
28 years ago.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So at that time they were in their 50s.
Yeah.
So they were in their prime. That's a prime. Right now I'm 52.
Right.
So you're in your prime.
Right. And one thing about the thing that sucks about that life is that some of these guys are considered dirt bags and they're scum. Some people consider them no good guys. Some people look at other guys as stand-up guys. The whole thing that sucks about all that is that most of their families don't really know what they're involved with. You know what I mean? As far as the actual details of the things, okay, they might know, oh yeah, my father's a mafiosi. He's a captain in this family, or they might know he's the boss, but they're not. You can't say I'm totally naive. You got to know if your father's a captain or a boss, that he's made decisions and called certain shots that were deadly, right? But the thing that sucks about it is that I believe is that a lot of these families don't know exactly what their parent is involved with, their father or their uncle or their grandfather, and they don't look at them that way. They look at them in the loving way, the family person that they inside of them. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what? I think that they actually do know what they're involved in, You know, any smart family guy that is in a position that's a wise guy definitely don't want his family involved in that life. You know, look, I remember John Jr. said a smart thing. Okay, John Gotti Jr. Okay,
Yeah.
in one of his 2020 interviews, he said, "How much did my father really love me to put me into this life?" You know, and so when things are said like that, I remember them. You know, I'm
Yeah.
sure the thing
Well,
is,
John,
look, let me finish. I'm sure his father loved him, but I don't think John Sr. was really thinking when he put his son into this life, because it's a terrible life. Because if John Jr. don't beat those trials that he goes to,
he's
you know,
dead.
look, you're in jail. Of course, the feds are going to take you because your name is Gotti. You know, I mean, fortunately for him, it worked out. Look, they say they got 302s on him. I don't know. I'm saying I don't know what's true. And I really don't look into stuff because, in all honesty, I really don't care. You
Yeah.
know, but
Well, RJ Roger from Black Hand Mafia, I guess he got a hold of the 302s from Junior, and Junior didn't tell on as far as any he said some secondhand knowledge, third hand hearsay stuff. But as far as telling on any cases, supposedly he didn't. But I know in that life, if you sit down with them, regardless if your attorney's there or not, that's still considered, it's not a good move. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But
But
I mean,
the thing is,
yeah.
You know, look, he saved his life, and you know what? He walked away, I guess, the right way. And but like but in that life, the old timers say, blood in, blood out. You know, but
Right.
look, a lot of things change today. It's not what it used to be. You know, as the generations go on, the generations get watered down. You know, the bloodline gets watered down. So,
and that goes with the stuff they got out this way too. The organized crime out here, it's watered down. It's just watered down. I don't want to go into why my reasoning on that. I just rather stay away from that a little bit. But
that's fine.
yeah, it's just watered down and but yeah, John Gotti Jr. was the boy, and he was the male of the family, first son, and he spent a lot of time down there. But I mean, I'm thinking more of the sisters. The sisters, I think they know things, but to a certain degree. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, everybody got their opinion about that. Um, you know, all that really matters at the end of the day when we're talking here, when you're telling your story, is that you did what you did and you changed your life. You know what I mean? And you didn't continue to stay down that road of destruction. You know what I'm saying? That's what matters to me. And I'm not with that. Like I had said on somebody's live, I'm changing little by little. I don't care what anybody's decision if they cooperate or not. You know what I mean? That's their business. And like I said, the good thing about it though is that you continue to stay on the positive path, or not reoffending and all that. So that says a lot right there, because most of these guys just they use it as a way to get out, but then they continue to do their stuff. You know what I mean? Whatever it might be. So that says a lot. In my book.
And
you know what I'm saying? So
look, I judge people by their character. How they conduct themselves, the type of person they are, their actions, their words. So that's how I judge people, and I don't just put anyone in my company, because there's a lot of people I just don't trust. And you know what? In today's world, you can't just trust people. Trust is earned, just ain't given to anybody.
Plus, and the fact is, you got a long history. I'm sure of it. I mean, a lot of it by your stories that you've been done dirty. Disloyal people in your company. Look at all the friends you got that have been killed as teenagers.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Exactly. And so that so yeah. I mean, you can't just trust anybody, man, because somebody's always out there trying to do something scandalous shit. It's plain and simple English. They're always out there trying to do something scandalous, and it's a wide variety of different things that they're looking to get you on. You know what I mean? Might be your life, might be your woman, might be your wallet. It might be something that you own that they want. It might even be your dog in your backyard. They will get friendly with you just to steal it. You know what I mean? People are creeps, man. There's a lot of creeps, man, out there.
100%.
And it's just honestly, these are words I usually don't use. I haven't used, because I'm always, macho. You know what I mean? Latino guy, always macho. But it's sad, man. It's sad. You know what I mean? It's sad that people are, willing to do this scandalous stuff to steal from people that that really don't have things to be stolen from them. You know what I mean? People ain't all millionaires. People ain't got money coming out their ears. You know what I mean? They don't got a tree in the backyard with dollar bills and, you know, they can go pick whenever they need money. You know, it's hard-earned money, hard-earned things they've bought, and it just sucks that people do that, man. You know what I mean? So it's just, yeah, I hope, you know, and then also with the politics, it's just like, if you don't agree with me, you know, I want to hurt you or kill you, or, you know what I mean? It just sucks. It's not supposed to be like that, man.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
the whole country is divided because of
Yeah.
the politics. You know,
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's, you know, you're supposed to, you know, okay, we don't agree on that. We don't agree on that. Doesn't mean we keep attacking each other and you know what I mean? Insulting each other, calling each other names, trying to get people to, what's that word? Inciting violence on people. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's again, sad. It's sad. We're supposed to be the best country in the world. You know what I mean? And to be honest, the last few years, we've been kind of the laughing stock. You know what I'm saying?
yep, absolutely.
Terrible. You know, I just, man, I wish it just wasn't like this, but unfortunately it is. And hopefully something happens, some type of divine intervention happens, or something, and that everybody starts coming together and bring this nation back together strong. You know what I mean?
Yes,
But
absolutely.
yeah, I don't like to talk politics because
And
people get
also,
upset, and you know.
and the thing is, you know, look, you know, I remember growing up when we were kids. Okay, I'm 52. When I was growing up in Brooklyn, anywhere you went, there was crosses all over the place. Okay, you know, houses of worship. You know, and you know, the parents. You went to catechism. You went to, you know, they taught you about God. You know, no one's teaching the kids about God no more. You know, so all the values are going down. You know,
Right.
in the world. You know, I mean,
Yeah,
it's good
correct.
to know about God because it makes you stronger to know about, you know, Jesus and stuff like that, and you know, because it makes you
Right.
strong. Look, there's a beginning, there's an end. We're all gonna die someday. We're all here because you know what? If we can help other people and do good with our lives, you know what? That's a purpose, right? That's what I want to be. Look, I don't want to be remembered for the wrong thing in my life. I want to be
Right.
remembered for the right thing in my life.
That's what I always say. My legacy. I don't want to be remembered as that dope dealer. Pintero. We call him Pintero. That means you're always trapped in the web of prison. Pinta. We call it Pinta, the prison. You know, I don't want to be remembered as a drug dealer, drug addict. None of that shit. I want to be remembered as a person that took, in the end, he turned it around and took care of his family, his grandkids. You know, and helped others out when he could. You know what I mean? Or at least stirred them in the right direction, you know, with advice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not too long ago. So I'm 43 years old, right? Not too long ago. This is about maybe no more than 3 months ago. I'm at the car wash and I'm drying up my Cadillac. I just washed it. And somebody pulls up behind me and they say something. I turn and look and I say, what? Because I didn't understand. I didn't hear him. This kid was about 16 years old and he jammed me up where I was from. And I was like, I was blown away by it. I was like, what the? You know, and at the end of the day, I end up trying to tell him, hey, dude, I mean, I'm a, you know, grandfather. I'm over here washing my car. You know, at a car wash. I said, you know where to go find trouble. And he tells me, no, I don't know. I go, well, go over there by the park. I told him, right. Anyway, I ended up changing that up. And I told him, you know what, man, I'm going to tell you right now, think about what you're doing. I go, because one, like what you always say, one fault, when you do something, one move, one action you do can put you in the slammer, the big house for the rest of your life.
Absolutely.
Think about it. I go, you're young. You probably don't even got kids. I go, think about it, man. I go, it's not worth it, you know. And I try to, and he ended up thanking me afterwards. I don't know how sincere it was, but I'm glad that he didn't end up maybe pulling a gun on me, you know, because I think he had something. Because when I got close to his car, he kind of like went to cover something, you know. And anyways, you know, I felt pretty good because I told him that, you know, and unfortunately, we lose too many young people to this nonsense, you know what I mean? And me personally, I've done many years in the joint, and I missed a lot of things with my kids. You know, crawling. My last baby, I wasn't even there for her birth. You know, her mom had to have a C-section to get her out. So I'm supposed to be there for support. You know what I mean? And hold her hand, whatever, right her forehead, whatever. And I wasn't there. You know, and so I missed that. I missed her first crawling when she started walking. I didn't meet her till close to her second birthday. You know what I mean? And now we're real close now. But even my other kids, first day of school, a lot of things I missed, man. I got I got 6 kids, and I missed a lot of stuff in their lives. You know what I mean? So
And you
You
know
miss
what?
people
It's
passing away, like your father, like you said.
Yep.
It sucks, man. People really need to think about it. It's nothing to glorify. Oh, because I did 12 years, 11 years in the pen. There's nothing about it that's special, nice, worthy to even speak about. You know, once you get your mind right and you finally, you know, hey, you know, look, what the hell have I been doing? You know, because obviously when you're in that life, you think, oh yeah, what are they? You know what I mean? I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm keeping my mouth shut. I'm running this yard. I'm running this building. Everything's running up to par. We're shooting the money where it got to go. But in all honesty, you're expendable, and at the end of the day, they're gonna let you sink. You know what I mean? They're not gonna throw you one of those things, those lifesavers. You know. So people, I hope anybody listening to this, you know, that are involved in any of that type of stuff, it doesn't matter where you're from. If you're packing a pistol and you're causing, you know, you're robbing people, anything like that, you know, you need to think about it. Really think about it. You know.
And Big Lou, I commend you for getting back into your children's life and acknowledging that the things you missed in your life, you know, because those kids need you, and that's what makes you a man. That's what makes you grow. You know, acknowledging, you know what, you know, I missed these years with my children, but you know what, thank God I'm back in their life.
Yeah, yeah,
Correct.
correct.
So children really need direction, and they need, you know, a man figure in their life. You know,
Right. I've been at this job since 2018. And to save it part of the reason to save my life. You know, obviously I give the glory to God though first and foremost, but he put the job in my life, and he put my cousin, he put my cousin for me to ask my cousin, and my cousin got me on, you know, and I've been on since, and then I got promoted to a position, and I've been, you know, there since the last 27, 28 months at that position that I'm at now. But this is the first actual legit job with the W-2 form that I was on the W-2 form since 2000. So 18 years I didn't have a real job, but majority of that I was inside, and you know, and then hustling, you know, selling dope and you know all that, and that's another story. You know, that's a whole another story in itself about, you know, the always having to look over your shoulder for the police, but then you got to look over your shoulder for people trying to rob you. You know, so it's just it's a big story, big mess, and it's got different components to it that you know we can't say it all right here right now, but I appreciate you saying that to me, give me those words, because
no, it's
it's
the
true.
truth,
It's the truth, man. You know,
You're
it's the truth.
standing, yo, you're standing up. You're doing what you got to do.
Right.
You know, I
You know,
respect that. That's
and
good.
then you know, like they say, honor that mother and father. My mother, I try to give her every paycheck. I throw her some money. I try to help out with my granddaughter. You know, my kids come. I have a couple older kids here that live with me, and I got a couple that live in another town. When they come, I give them money. You know, my father always asks my dad, how, you know, do you need any groceries? You know, so you know, you're supposed to. And then when I see homeless people, I give them a few dollars here and there. You know what I mean? Because I know how it's like to. I know how it's like to be out in the street too. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, I had a little time where I was out there too. You know what I mean? And you know, people don't know everybody's problems, man. Everybody always matters right away. It's, oh, they're a drug addict, they're a drunk. You know, sometimes it's not always that way. You know what I mean? You know, majority of the time, yeah, it is, but it's not always like that. A lot of times, the mental health, you know, takes control, and they don't know how to, you know, they don't know how to get help or stay with the help, because a lot of times people take the meds and then they think, oh, I'm okay, and then they stop taking the meds and then they go downhill crashing again. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things, man. People need to be more open-minded and stop automatically judging people. You know, that's a big problem that we got, and I'm guilty of it too. I've done that before. You know what I mean? But I'm trying to really change my attitude and the way I look at things. You know what I mean?
Of course, you know, you want to better yourself. You want to better your life. You want to be a role model to your children, to other
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah, exactly. Because I tell my kids all the time, or any kids, hey, don't like my little cousins and stuff. I go, don't look at me like I did something special or I did something outstanding, be going in prison and being all them years in there. You know, that's not something to look up to. I'll tell them straight up, because it's the truth. You know what I mean? It's the truth. You know, it just sucks. It's a, you know, because yeah, you're doing the time, you did it standing up on your head. You know, some people say I can do that standing on my head, but you got to keep in mind, you're depending on how old you are, if your family, your parents are still around, they're suffering too. Your kids are suffering. Your wife, you have a wife, your girlfriend's suffering, your cousins are even suffering, depending on how close you guys are. It's just not you doing time, they're doing time with you. You know what I mean? And people fail to realize that, man. And I hope people start to wake up, because it's you know, I don't want to say it like, well, I'm not going to say it like that, but yeah, I just hope people wake up, man. You know what I mean? It's never too late. It's never too late to wake up.
Exactly.
You
It's
know?
never too late. That's right.
So like you always say, it's not where you start, is where you finish, right? So,
Yep.
you know, I never thought I was gonna get a lowrider car again. I thought that the prices were gonna be way out of range and all that, but no, I already bought me two now. You know what I mean? So, and I'm only making $20 an hour. You know what I mean? That's all I make. I make 22 an hour. You know, but like I said, I appreciate that job. I'm grateful for that job. You know, that job saved my life, like I said earlier. So, you
That's
know,
right.
people need.
That job gives you a purpose. It takes you where you got to go throughout the course of the
Yep.
day.
Yep.
I mean, instead of the mind just standing still and thinking about other bad things, you know,
Right.
you have a job, you show up. You know, at the end of the week, you got a paycheck. You're helping out your family. You're helping out yourself, and you're feeling good about yourself. You know.
Yep. I've been there, like I said, 27, 28 months at that job site. I haven't missed a day, and I haven't been late a day. And you know, but yeah, I got a purpose. I'm the boss. I'm the foreman. You know, it's like I said, it's a blessing. You know, it's not that much money an hour, but you know what? It's getting me by, and it's getting me and my family what we need. You know, and it's even enabled me to put away money. You know, that way, you know, anything ever happens, you know, your car breaks down, you got the money, boom, to fix it, whatever it is. You know what I mean? And like I said, I'm grateful for that. So,
Yep. And it's good. And it's good to save a couple of dollars for a rainy day. You never know.
yeah, yeah, that's very important. Those people that you know, they can't save. I hope that you figure something out with that, because you know, you can get you know, depending what kind of, just put it this way, even a car battery. Say your battery goes out, you don't have a warranty on it, and you want to go and get a battery, you're looking at a couple $100.
I actually just got a new battery. They charged me $150 for a battery.
See, now you can find the ones at Walmart for like 1 year warranty for like $60, but they're usually not that good, and you know, and usually they go out before that, you know. But yeah, a battery's going to cost you $150 to $200. You know, a windshield gets cracked if you don't have it on your insurance deal. You know, you're looking at a couple $100. You know, you got to save money. You know, you have to. You know, some people can't do it. I don't know why. You know, well, I guess they weren't taught it or whatever. I don't know, but you know, there's more to it. You know, the big thing is just everybody out there, and this including myself, and I'm really working on it. You got to just humble yourself, man. Humble yourself. Have an open mind. Learn about other people. Learn about yourself. Take constructive criticism. You know, and don't take it offensive. You know, that's a big problem, especially with because Italian men are just like Latino men. You know what I mean? We're macho. We don't cry. You're taught not to cry. You know, you're taught all that stuff. So, you know, the big thing for me, and I honestly believe a lot of other people, just humble yourself, you know, and be open minded. Learn, because we always learn every day. You learn something new. It might just be something that ain't nothing, but you learn. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And that's a big part of humanity. Being a person is to learn from your mistakes, obviously, but learn from other people. Learn, you know, keep your mouth shut and watch. You know, listen and pay attention. You know, so
that's for sure.
So I'll go ahead and take for that lesson I just gave everybody out there. Go ahead and send super chats to Jimmy, and he'll break me off my 25%. Thank you, y'all. No, I'm playing.
Listen, hey, have a good dinner.
Yeah, I'm gonna get here and eat this sandwich, man. I appreciate you bringing me on, Jim.
When you let me ask you something. When you make rice dishes, right? The bottom of the bowl, the pagao.
Pagao. We call it.
That's the best.
The Puerto Ricans, we call it pagao. Yeah, the burnt part. My mother loves that stuff.
That's the best.
Yeah. Yep. All right, Jim.
Well, listen, hey, I see you soon, okay? We'll talk soon.
Yeah.
Stay blessed. Thank you,
brother. Give a gunshot a salute.
Gunslinger, Gunslinger.
Everett. Yeah, Edward Everett, Tim Egan, Yankees for Life. All them guys. Dale is my name. Joe Della Muda. All them guys. Anybody I miss, I apologize, but there's a lot of names.
You got it.
All right, buddy. Talk to you later. All right.
See you soon.
Have a good one. Yep.
Bye-bye. That was Big Lou. It's always good to talk to Big Lou. Family man, going to work, doing the right thing, you know, learned his lesson in life, did some jail time. Tony Marie Ricci. Everybody loves you over here. All you're doing is getting compliments. We love Tony Marie Ricci. So you're very popular with everyone. I got my boy Joey D. He's eating over here. Joey Piccolino. I don't know what you're wearing over there, what kind of mustache and glasses you have, but hang on, sit tight for a minute. I'll get to you. Let me put Joey D on. This is my boy over here. I love this guy. He really is This guy's got a big heart. They call him Joey D. They should call him Joey Dove, because he's like a dove, this guy.
Yeah, man.
What's up, Joe?
What's up, brother? Hey, I want to say one to Big Lou. Big Lou, I love you. Thanks for your sincerity, man, your heart. I love you, brother. I'm keeping you in my prayers, man. All the best for you. I like Big Lou. And Alfonso, if that was a son of mine, I'd be proud of him, man. He talks very elegant. He's smart. I would love if I had a son to sit there and write things and be creative like that. Alfonso, keep doing that. Stay in school. I think you're going to be a world-known author, and maybe a screenwriter or something like that. Keep it up, brother. I love you. All right, check this out. He might make one of the next
Unbreakable.
Hey, look at this. Whose book is that?
Guys, so this is Elizabeth Grable. She's a dear friend of mine. I grew up with her. She her cousin actually married someone in my family, and we've been friendly ever since back in the day. She's a very tough woman. She's been through a lot in her life. So Unbreakable Me, I Still Rise. If you can, go to Amazon, order that book. I'm gonna have her on actually this week. I didn't say it yet, but she's gonna be on this week.
Thanks. Right. Hey,
So,
Lily, can you go with the music just a little bit for me?
That's gonna be a good.
Just go with the music a little bit, please. I'm on the line. I'm on an interview. I'm sorry, man. Hold on. Yeah, just a little bit, sweetie. Thank you. Hold on, Jimmy. I gotta lower the music a little bit.
Yeah, I hear the music in the background.
You know what I mean. Thank you, Lily.
But
This is gonna be great. We're gonna have her on next week. When is she gonna be coming on, Jimmy?
She's gonna be on one day next week. So when
Oh,
she's
that's great.
on, I'll put it on YouTube. When I'm
I'm
gonna
looking forward to that. I just got this in. I got one other one for a gift for Christmas, and I encourage everyone support young authors, amazing women out there, like herself, and support them. Another thing.
Yeah, she's originally from Coney Island. She's very wise and knowledgeable, and she has a lot to say. She's been through the ringer in the streets, and she's actually a comeback story.
I love comeback stories,
and
yeah,
she has.
One day we'll be on Michael Franchise's, so we're gonna.
That'd be great.
All right, hey, I'm gonna tell you another book that's great out there. Cammy, Michael Franchise's book is good. It's called This Thing of Ours. It's a beautiful read.
Is that
by Cammy Franchise?
Okay, nice.
Even Michael says it's a great read, and then I want to just promote it if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
God the Father, Michael Franchise.
God the Father. I have to read that for sure.
I'm gonna get you one for Christmas, and then this one too. I'll make you an offer of Terry Crews. I still can't get the other book, The Covenant. Blood Covenant sold out all the time.
Yes, definitely. So you guys, you see these books. Look, I admire Michael Francis. He's a God-loving person. He's a family man. He changed his life. He lives by his words and his actions. And I admire this man. I really do. And, we know that him and Sammy are getting ready to do a sit down. I mean, that's going to be very entertaining. I'm looking forward to that. So, there's a couple of things to look forward to, having these two guys at the table. And, I know it's going to be respectful. There's going to be some heated moments. But at the end of the day, these two guys, they respect each other.
Right. I'm going to show you a couple. I'm going to share something with you. This guy here, I almost died when I was 17. This guy here, you see him right there in that picture, Richard Mack with the golden wing Honda?
Yes.
I know you can see him right there. Was the man that came to my house when I told you that story when my stepfather killed himself. Became a good friend of mine. This is his son in Iraq, Special Forces.
Oh, wow.
This is his son. He gave me these pictures when he was training the other soldiers in Iraq. Beautiful man. And this is where he lived. This is what everyone understands. This is where our soldiers sometimes have to live. A special place. Look at that. He said, look, he gave it to his dad. My new home for a year. Great.
Yeah.
Soldiers out there.
And I want to give a shout out to all the veterans out there serving the country and protecting us from, the evil people. I mean, these people very special to serve their country and protect us, and protect our freedoms that we live with. So, shout out to the veterans. I love the
for all the brothers and women around the world. And this was me when I was in the construction. I did carpentry. I told you they wanted to put me in the national. They wanted to actually head of the school wanted to let me go to the international union. He thought that's where I was going to be best placed for my attitude and the way he thought I would work well for the union to send me all over the place and help unionize everywhere for partners. But me and him developed a good relationship. I got him the American Fire Chopper. I don't know if y'all remember that series. I love that series. I used to watch all the time, the father and son. Because of my relationship with my father wasn't always great. I can relate because I've been in the business with my father for a little bit, and I understood the turmoil between him and his father sometimes. It's real life. I used to do that with my father. We used to say they need to put cameras in our place, and they would have been a reality show. But I'm going to tell you something. This was me with my union rep. One of the union reps came up to me. I was building a footer. I was putting the footers down for Oberlin theme park, whatever, the water park, whatever they had out there, some city out there. And when the union rep came on, I was in the mud, and they had me go in the mud. It rained the next day, and I had to tie all the rebar together before the cement came. Those days were pretty hectic when the cement trucks came. Let me tell you, you better work. So when I came out, I had so much mud on me that day, my pants actually ripped all the way down, and the whole day I had this hand leg. I had no other pants, and it was just open. You know what I mean? So when my union rep came, the union guy from that local came. I said, "Hey man, let me give you a big hug." He said, "Joey, you better not give me no big hug, man." When I came out of that pit, because he was gonna get covered in mud. You see that? See how nice he looked? See how muddy I was muddy all the way down? Let me tell you, I had some great experiences doing carpentry. I worked a lot of highway jobs. One of the company was AP O'Hora, and Danny Green's son was a laborer out there. And I worked under that kind of people. And one day, a real fast story, one day, they needed these rebarbs that were shaped in a U, but they only had pretzel shape. They said, "Joe, if we wait for these things to come in, we're going to get $1 million fine a day because we got to get this project. The project's already backed up. And when you have a project like an $8 billion project, whatever it was, it was so many miles down the road of highway. I can't remember the exact number. It was a lot of money, maybe 800 million, maybe close to that. I don't know what it was. Don't quote me on that. I just hear people talking. I don't know what that man made. I have no idea what that man made, but I know he got paid. So they said, "Joey, we can't afford to get back up on this job." So what I did was they said, "We're going to send you into the yard, and there's going to be a trailer there, and you're going to bend all the steel that comes to you into a U. It's going to look like a pretzel, but they show me what to do. I put it in the end of the trailer, and I bend it like U. And I did that all day long. And when I say the trailer was done, a big crane picked up and dropped a whole nother pile every time I was done, all day. When I got back down, the iron worker said, "Hey, we got something for you, brother." I said, "What is that?" They gave me we love stickers on our hats. When you work in union jobs, we love them. All kind of different stickers. They had all kind of shit. So I had one sticker and it said "Iron Buster." A bulldog with teeth showing. It said, "You deserve this. You're an iron buster, Joey. You busted iron all day." I said, "Thank you." And one day, remember the one time I had a foreman trying to, when you're out there, sometimes they try to ride you, see who's going to, they want to see who's going to quit, who's going to walk. I have so many guys seen walk out the 100-degree weather. I ain't doing that shit. You know what I mean? Let me tell you what they did. The foreman said, "We got every time you get a board, I want you to knock off the cement. And I don't want to run under no boards. You're going to knock off that board, and it probably was 15 feet long. I don't know, sometimes 20 feet long. These boards we were making for the highway to put these frames in, put these, build the wall. When you drive down highways,
audio,
you have to build these walls."
Yeah, your audio ain't that good, Joe.
Can you hear me now?
The audio is not that good.
What if I bring it closer? Is it better?
Yeah, it's better now.
Oh, I'm sorry. So here's the thing, I did that all day. I just kept, and with a smile on my face. We about bust out there to the highway. I'll never forget it. When I got back on the bus, every time I seen that foreman, I made sure I smiled. 100 degrees, my lips are frozen together from the heat, no water. Sometimes when the iron workers drive by, I say, "Give me some of that water." And they really ain't supposed to do that. You're supposed to have water every so often. But all right, so when I got on that bus, we used to get bused in the morning, bust out to this highway. As soon as I got on that bus, every one of those guys in that bus clapped their hands. Iron workers, laborers, everybody. So you know what? You cannot fucking break this dude right here. You can't break him. He tried to break you, but he couldn't break you, Joe. He couldn't break you. This dude was done not. This they said this dude don't break. No, I was apprentice. They trying to break me. They ain't gonna break me. You ain't breaking me. I knew what he was trying to do, so I smiled every time I walked by him. He dropped his board off, and I did that job all day like that. You know, from 6 a.m. whatever it was to 3, 5, whatever. So then one day, the next day, I know I had no water. I had me a water cooler with me, a little 1 gallon, and I would have that everywhere I went. He said, "God damn it, Joey, are you a goddamn water buffalo? Everywhere you fucking go, you got that damn water jug." I said, "That's why, because you didn't have no water, and I ain't running out of water." But let me tell you, I had a lot of funny stories on the highway, and then on the highway, I had a lot of funny stories working on the highway. I loved highway jobs. I would love highway. When they ended, I didn't want it to end. Because you know, then we have to go. You know, sometimes you got to go and sign up on a point for a little bit till you get the next job. And you got to. When I told you that job about that hammer thing, I actually used to take my tools with me, and I would look for jobs. So if I seen a job site, I would go to walk on the job site and say, "Hey, you got a job for me? What you do?" "I'm a carpenter, blah blah blah. This is this and that." That guy actually paid me more money when I did that. He said, "I'm giving you more money. You're gonna make more than your rate because you showed up." Yeah.
I like your outfit.
Oh, you like my outfit?
I like your
I saw
outfit.
this out there on Michael's boat, I think. Hey, let me tell you something. On that Dream, what was called? No, it was called the Dream, I think. I think it was called the Dream. I can't remember the yacht, but I wore it out there. I think I wore it on that boat. This is where I used to run. This is the place I'm in right now. Is the place I used to run. It's my brothers. I call them my brother, my sister. Hey y'all. Hey yo. Hey yo. Let me show you. I'm gonna introduce you to his daughter. She's gonna be a future star. I'm gonna show you real fast. I'm gonna give you a little quick tour. I'm gonna give you a quick tour real fast. I'm gonna show you. I used to work it, but me and my brother, sometimes we butt heads like this. Yeah, come here. This is his beautiful daughter, Jimmy. She's gonna be a star. Say hi to Jimmy.
Hi, Jimmy.
Tell him what your singer gonna be.
What?
What's the name of it? The name of it.
It's called Nowhere.
And we're gonna get that out there, Jimmy.
You're a singer?
Nowhere.
Wow, nice. Good for you.
Say hi to Jimmy.
Hi, Jimmy.
That's your dad's my brother, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's my brother right there too. So it's your dad's his brother.
Nice.
Anytime you come in, you get 20% off your hibachi.
There you go.
I said it. That's Lily. Hey, look, Lily. Hold on, Lily. I told her, do you want me to cook the steak today? Because you want me to go back and cook the steaks? Because he fired every one of the chefs, and I had to become the chef, and I'm supposed to be general manager. and don't burn one of Tina's steaks. Believe me, I learned that. I learned that lesson. Let me show you real fast tour. Now we're going to talk about the 28th floor tour. Tina's going to come down in a minute. She told me, she said, I'm going to tell you a funny story. She got a funny story to tell you because, I like to talk a lot, but I got a funny story she's going to tell you about that one, me and her husband. I'm going to show you a little tour. This is why I used to work. I used to manage. And sometimes I not just manage, I had to do security myself. You know what I mean? So look, this is the, y'all can see it. This is the kitchen.
Okay.
I used to cook all the rice in here. And bro, we had to mix it. And when Vladimir was in here during Valentine's Day, my God, my brother, man, oh man, he was riding me, man. Joey, this is temporary. Man, my brother can go crazy. It's like Hell's Kitchen in here. So anyways, I used to work with a lot of Chinese chefs. And let me tell you guys one thing about Chinese chefs. They know how to use knives. Man, if I was putting a team together for some really good backup, I'd have me a couple of Chinese chefs right next to me. Trust me. Now, let me show you something. Let me show you this right here. This right here is that's what we have. We have a bakery down here. We do all the cooking and cut up all the meat and everything. What's up, brother? Hey, come here, my man. Listen, big. Where you from, bro? Where you from? Trinidad. Where in Trinidad? Yeah. My brother. So we got a lot of Trinidad.
What's up?
You know what I mean? So, hey, listen, from China, Trinidad, all over the place. Now I'm gonna show you another thing. Here, now hold on a second. I used to go over here, Jimmy. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna go up. We got 4 floors. 4 floors here. Believe me, when the presidents come in town, they like coming here. They like coming here. When president's mans, well, I should say this: the president's mans come in town. They love this place. I'm gonna show you outside. I'm gonna go outside. You know, Harrison Ford. He comes here when he comes to town. You know, LeBron James. He comes here. You know, all the players from the Indians.
I hang out with them.
Funny story about Kevin Herrera. Hey, Kevin Herrera. You remember me, brother? I was your lucky chef. Remember for the hookah? When I made them a hookah, Kevin Herrera and them came the next day, they wanted the same flavor because they beat the Indians. But that day, they came up and drank with Vladimir. I don't know if he had some money on the game. And they got really drunk, and they lost the next day to the Indians. I don't think that's a coincidence. You know what I mean? Hey, but anyway, check this out. I'm going to show you something.
Joey D, I have to visit that spot. I want to.
You're going to come. Yeah. Look at how cool it is. This is downtown Cleveland. I used to stay up on the penthouse floor. Sometimes I come down. It was a Browns game. They towed my car. I had to go pay $180 in my car that day. I said, Vladimir, you better come with $200 down. He dropped it out the window, man. I said, I ain't paying that ticket. You paying it, brother. I had to work all night. So he dropped me $200 down. I said, go get your car. I don't pay. No, you paying, brother. I'm working. You know what I mean? So anyway, I love that guy. So this, I'm going to show you. I'm going to go upstairs. And this is, I was going to make the Zen Lounge over here. The Zen Lounge, my vision was we were going to paint. I don't know if you can see it up here. They got to get the lights on. Let me see if it'll come on. Anyway, I'm gonna walk up in it. I don't see if it's dark up here. But anyways, I was gonna paint it looking like you go up to the Himalayas. And when you get up to the third floor, you would come into a Zen Lounge where it would have like beautiful paintings of like, Japanese paintings and everything. And you can relax, tranquil place. But let me see, here we go. There's a light. So I used to walk up these steps every day when I was general manager. Let me see if he got a lock. Oh, they might got a lock, so can't go in the floor. But that was a floor I used to work on. It ain't open right now. But yeah, this was an experience. How many nights we had parties in here and everything here. Me and Vladimir had to do the security too. And we had security. Cleveland police officers had security. But we still had to help them out.
All right.
But I'm gonna show you something. Okay. This is a beautiful place here. My friend is in Croatia now. He's got a hotel out there he's working on.
Holy Marie, one minute. I'll be right there.
Hey, Lily, come here. Say this girl is so small, but she is so tough. Hey, Lily, say hi to my friend Jimmy.
Hi.
Say hi, Jimmy.
Who that Jimmy is?
Jimmy. You'll love her. But let me tell you what, I seen her tell a guy 6 foot something. You better sit down. You know what I mean? Let me tell you. Let me go up to my office. This was my office. I'm gonna go up the spiral staircase. I loved it. So we have a little floor up here. And this was my office. See, we got hoopers and stuff. But I used to have a little chair here. And that's where I would come and do all my, look at what I had to buy for the, call up wholesalers and try to give me the best price for everything. As far as napkins and anything we use. Like I said, I have all the contacts on the wholesalers, so they try to give me the best price. If they didn't, I go, I believe me, they always did. But if they didn't, I'll just go get somewhere else. They knew that. So I always used to do that. Try to save every dime I could. But anyway, where's your mom at? Where's your mom? Oh, I want her to say, you remember that store when your dad paid me $1,000? She told you, remember? Oh, you know me, Lily. Oh, I'll come back next time. I want to tell you a story. I'll just tell her. She's not here. She went to sleep. I don't want to bother. So she was going to tell you, but she was waiting, but then, she left. But anyway, here's the story. And y'all going to love this. This story right here first, I'm going to tell this one. Then I'm going to get to the 28th floor. Now, anyways, you guys know I talk a lot. So my friend, Vladimir, made me a bet. Joey, if you can shut up for, I don't know how many it was. What is it, maybe? So many hours. I think it may have been one shift or 20 hours, whatever it was, whole day, whatever. Made a bet. I'll give you $1,000. $1,000. You can't keep quiet for the whole, whatever it was. So really, okay, I'll take that bet. His wife was laughing before she went upstairs. She remembered this. I would love for her to tell you. I want her to tell you, but it's a true story. Like it is. So Vladimir, so I took a pen and pencil with me. Even when he sent me out to get supplies, I used a pen and pencil for that person. I didn't want to cheat. I ain't gonna cheat. I don't cheat. I'm gonna leave. I gotta go get something. I used a pen. And the guy looking at me, I wrote down, I made a bet to my boss over here, my friend, for $1,000 that I wouldn't speak. So I need to write everything down I need. He started laughing. This guy is bringing me up and laughing. Like, so he gets me all the stuff I need. I come back to the store. Every customer I had to deal with, I wrote everything. I gave him a pen. They wrote everything down. Everything down. What's up, brother? Here's one of my security guards. Hey, here's my security right here. Remember that? Was you here the day with Vladimir betting me $1,000? I couldn't keep my mouth shut. Yeah. Yeah. You remember that? Yeah. He's one of my brothers here. I'm good, brother. I'm good, my man. Good seeing you. Anyways, well, check this out. So I bet him.
Hey, but
and I was gonna, huh?
Go ahead, Joe. Quick.
So anyway, I bet the guy. I said, okay, look, Vladimir's not getting pissed off because everywhere I went, he tried to call me on my phone. I still wouldn't answer my phone. I would like come down and have him write it. He's like, Joe, it's over. It's over. The bet's fucking over. The bet's over. I said, no, I write it down. It ain't over. It ain't over till that $1,000 is in my hand. So I would go to every customer and I would write down what they want. If they had a problem, I'd write everything down. He was just burning up. He got upstairs and then later in the night, he's still looking at me looking at me like, oh, damn, where's the kid? The bet's over. The bet's over. I didn't do it. No, but the bet ain't over. Man, it was so funny because everyone started laughing. All the customers were laughing. Everyone was laughing because and they could see he's pissed. I'm trying to get that money. Ran and write everything down. Finally, he's like, Joey, just get the fuck out of here tonight, man. Get the fuck. We don't start getting ready to butt heads. I was laughing so bad. So, all right, bye. You owe me $1,000. And my friend, they were laughing. Everyone in the bar was laughing. He was so pissed. And my friend is about 6'5". I don't know, Vladimir, he's a big guy. But it was so funny, man. His wife still laughed. I wish y'all would have met her because she was laughing still to this day. He'll laugh about it. Me and him laugh about it. It was the one thing I know your audience will enjoy because you guys know when I stay on here, Sullivan said he's gonna be watching Godfather 1, Godfather 2, Godfather 3, and then he told me he's gonna throw in the Goodfellas just for safe, regards. I love your audience, man. I love all your audience here. I'm gonna tell you guys. I love Jimmy, but I just want to say, it's a blessed man right here, and God's working with him. But I'm gonna tell you a story. Well, go ahead, Jimmy. You have something to say?
I want to get someone else on because
I want to say the 28th floor tour.
I'm on 2 hours, 10 minutes. And
all right, let me just do the 28th floor tour. That's what I promised you.
Go ahead.
You guys may find this, you might like this. So 28th floor tour. Guy goes in to get a job. He goes to one of these, like we got downtown, like this, big building. What most of you guys see downtown in these buildings, you see the first floor, there's a lot of activity. Usually picture the building with the turn doors going in and out. Everyone's busy. The secretary, everyone's running around. You got the counter, everyone trying to go in there. They got all this stuff going on the first floor. You guys know that's the first floor. It's usually always busy in these big cities. A picture like Chicago, New York, down in some of these big cities, these big buildings, high rises. Then the guy says, so he goes in, he goes see the boss, said, hey, look, we got to take you. He said, you're getting a job, but we're going to take you on a 28th floor tour. First place he takes him, he said, let's go down to the first floor. He said, how do you feel on the first floor? He said, man, first floor, well, I'm sorry, guys, I'm rushing the story. Take him to the basement. He said, how do you feel here in the basement? The guy looks around. He said, it's the basement. It's damp. It's gloomy. It's the basement. He says, okay, I want you to remember how you felt right here. I'm going to take you to the first floor. How you feel here? It's better than the basement, but there's so much stuff going on. People in and out the doors, all kind of activity going on. I kind of feel confused a little bit. Like it's too much going on. Like, he said, okay, that's first floor. I want you to remember how you felt on the first floor. He takes you to the third floor. So how you feel here? He says, better than the basement, better than the first, but all I see is buildings. Buildings, like I'm looking out the window, all I see is building, like building here, building there, sides of the buildings. But he said, okay, great. I want you to remember that's the third floor. Takes you to the 28th floor. He said, how you feel here? He said, oh my God. He said, I can see across the whole city. Man, if I can see where I live. I can see everything here. He goes, that's the 28th floor. He said, let me explain something to you. He said, around here, to get a job, he says, you have to see everything here from the 28th floor. He said, let me explain something to you. During your day, if you have a problem, I want you to snap your fingers one time. And I want you to remember the basement. Okay? Remember how you felt there. And if you have a problem again during the day, I want you to snap your fingers again. I want you to know how you felt there. He said, I want you to think of the first floor. And if you have snap your fingers one more time, you have another problem. And I want you to remember the third floor. He said, if you have a 3-snap day, call me. Because everything here we see from the 28th floor. Keep that in mind. Those who can see will see what I'm saying. See everything from the 28th floor, you guys. Okay? Don't be a basement thinker. Don't be a first floor thinker. Don't be a third floor thinker. Think from the 28th floor, where these executives are usually way up high. There's a reason for that. It does something to your mental psyche. Anyways, I'll tell you guys, thank you. I'm gonna let Jimmy go. And guess what? Guess you didn't finish The Godfather 1. I know you did not, Danny. I ain't say that long. But listen, guys, I'm eating hibachi. And she eat this. I got me some sushi. I'm getting ready to eat some sushi. So anyway, guys, I love all Jimmy's supporters out there. I pray for all y'all good health and wealth for your families, everything. And Jimmy, you know.
Okay. Thanks, bro.
Keep the eye of the tiger. God first.
God first, man. Thank you. Thank you for coming on, man.
Have a good night.
You're
Have a good night. God bless. You'll be coming here when you come in town.
Thank you, man. I'll see you soon.
See you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, that was Joey D. Joey D is a genuine person. I love his personality. He has a big personality, and he's a great man. He really is. You know, he loves God, and is very positive. I don't know. They say Tony Marie Fabiano wanted to come on. Where are you? Tony Marie, are you still in the chat room? Let me see you. Where are you? I'm going to drop a link. Tony Marie, do you know how to grab the link and come on the channel? Maybe somebody could help you. I'm not sure if you know how to do it. You know, I'm just learning all this stuff myself and getting a little better. If Tony Marie is in the chat, there she is. Laugh out loud. Tony Marie, grab the link. Come in. Everybody wants to see you. You're very popular. Are you available? You know how to grab the link? Maybe somebody could help you? She's laughing. Laugh out loud. She's funny. I'm not coming on with my face. Okay, so don't come on with your face. That's fine. Real girly girl. Not come on with my face. Okay. You don't have to come on with your face. No problem. I understand. Just come on. You have something to say? You want to share something with us? Just grab the link. I'm not sure if you know how to do it. I'm going to put the link in one more time for you. How does she do with the phone? You just grab the link. That's all you have to do. Tony Marie, what you do is you touch your cursor with the link, and then it'll add you straight to the studio, and it'll direct you how to get into the studio. Okay, you usually press Chrome or Google to get in. I just dropped the link, so in the link you can see. See this guy over here. So where is she? It's okay. Yeah, Tony Marie, just the link is in the chat. You'll see it under my name. There's a link. You press that link, and then after you press the link, it'll give you directions how to get into the studio. In the beginning, I had hard times doing this too, so I understand. But yeah, I'd love to have you on. If you got something to say, you want to share something with us? Just snap that link, and as soon as you touch that link, it'll tell you how to go into the studio. You use Chrome or Google and then it'll take you into the studio, and you could do it on your phone. All right, let me talk to John Carlo for now. Until Tony Marie comes in, she'll figure it out.
Yeah, I can charge my car $20.
John Carlo,
Jimmy,
how are you? How are you? How's everything?
what's good? How are you?
Good. Where you from?
If you remember me from the neighborhood, but I'm originally from Bensonhurst and Bay 13 between Cropsey and Shore Parkway. I lived there my whole life. I went to school with you guys. I'm not going to say my real name, but you probably on Polio, Jim, and Tommy Reynolds and Joey Calco. I like this story. It's funny. We all went to Dyke together in junior high, and in ninth grade they put all the bad kids in one class, and it was like the worst of the worst. It was like D Block and Rikers. We had every bad kid you could think of in one class, right? And John Polio, he really was. And I listened to your podcast and everything. And I don't hear people talk about these guys. But I knew them when I was a kid, Fabrizio and everything. You're laughing, right?
Oh, well,
I want to make you laugh.
Go ahead.
So, back in the day, teachers were old. Sometimes they keep a teacher in the school system till they were like 90. And they were like senile, right? So we had this one class with the old teacher. And we used to
John Carlo,
John Polio, Tommy Reynolds, and Joey Calco would come in the room, and we would throw chairs out the window every day.
Yes.
So every day we would throw everybody's chair out the window. So I don't know if you went to Dyke. Yeah. I
went to Dyke for a little while.
If not, I'll come back next week. But
But you know what?
I got to tell you a story one day.
Hey, John, come back.
Fucking die laughing, Jimmy.
John, come back next week. All right, there he goes. Tony Marie.
Hold on. Hello.
How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
Good. How's everything?
Good. Good. Just putting up some Christmas decorations.
How's the family?
The family's good. Everyone's well. How about you, Jimmy?
Good. How's my friend Lisa?
He's good. I'm hiding the picture. Here I am. Okay, I'm not coming on. I got no makeup on, my pajamas on. The haters will love it. So, but I can't do that.
That's all right. You don't have to, that's all right. You don't have to show your face. I understand. But I'm happy you're on. I haven't spoken to you in a long time. How was your Thanksgiving?
My Thanksgiving was great, and yeah, it was good. Waiting for Christmas now. How was yours? The girls enjoyed.
Yeah. I was with my kids. I went to my aunt's house in Brooklyn. And I made a nice memory with my mom's family, my mother's sister. So, yeah, it was nice.
Very good. Very good. What else is going on? How is everybody out there? Everybody getting ready for the holidays?
I'll tell you, you're very popular. Everyone says, oh, yeah, Tony Marie's in here. Tony Marie wants to come on.
I appreciate that. That's cool. I guess they want to hear more stories. I think that's what it is, right?
That's what it is. They do want to hear more stories.
I know. Well, that's because I wrote, maybe I'll come back on and talk more about the narcissists. So as soon as I said that, I think that's when they started, come on, let's hear it.
Well, anytime you want to come on, let me know. You're invited on here. People love to, see you and, hear what you have to say because you're a very interesting woman,
Yeah, there's a lot of things that I didn't bring up the last time we spoke when we did the interview. So there's a lot more to talk about, and the things that transpired um, due to people making certain decisions that didn't include us, and also living with certain people and the day-to-day things that they would say and do. I didn't get into that. So there's a lot to talk about. So yeah, maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll do that before Christmas.
Whenever you want to do it, just let me know, and this way, we'll plan it, and people know you're coming on. And like I said, I love to have you, and you're invited on this channel at any time.
I appreciate that, Jimmy. All right, we'll set something up and we'll get it out there. We'll have some laughs.
Sure, why not? Have a little glass of wine as you're telling the story.
Yeah, that's it. Hey, listen, we got to move on. Thank God we could laugh about certain things, and that's the whole point of doing interviews. Also, you had a couple of gentlemen that were on there, and I know some people were making some snide remarks. But you know what? Everybody has a story, and everybody shouldn't really get on anybody's case because you don't know what they're going through in their life. But unfortunately, you have the haters, but you got to ignore them. But it's not nice. It's Thanksgiving and Christmas time. It should be all year round, but everyone should try to be nice to one another.
I agree with you, and you don't realize it, but you have a wrench. So if you ever see a comment you don't like, you could just touch that comment and you could delete it.
Well, actually, I did that quite a few times a little while ago.
Okay. I'm not sure if you knew you had one, but
Yeah,
I did give you one.
I have it, and I saw a Phil Leotardo. He keeps saying some nasty things, so I kept hiding his comments because it's really not nice. But yeah, it's cool.
Yeah,
It's
and you can also block them. So whatever you would like to do with them, just that's why I gave you a wrench.
so you give me your permission.
Yeah, well,
I got your back. Don't worry about
I
it.
know you do, and I appreciate that. And your friendship means a lot to me. You know that.
Yes, I do know that. And well, you enjoy the rest of the night, and we'll set something up. We'll speak and we'll do something right before Christmas. Actually, my story started 2 weeks before Christmas, when my whole world came crumbling down. So maybe we'll do that anniversary. Not that it's a good anniversary, but it's an anniversary. So maybe we'll do that 2 weeks before Christmas. How's that sound?
That sounds great. I'm sure the people out there would love to hear it.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay.
All right, Jimmy, you have a good night, and we'll speak soon.
Listen, I love you. You take care, and I'll talk to you soon.
All righty. You got it, Jimmy.
All right. Bye-bye. Everybody, Tony Marie Ricci, Fabiano. So, as you know, she'll be on before Christmas. You heard it from her. She's a very interesting woman. Her whole family was in the mob. She married a wise guy. We know the outcome. And she has an interesting life. I'm sure it's not interesting to her. I'm sure a lot of things bother her. But every day, we have to live with certain things that affected our lives. And one day at a time, right? That's all we could do. So I got Joey Owen here. Let me see what he has to say. Joey O, are you still there? Joey O. You're not there? Okay, bye. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate Live and Let Live. I appreciate Pazzo, Boston J, all my moderators out there. Thank you. Thank you to all the people who showed up. We had over 300 and something people in the chat room. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you to all my guests that came on and spoke. I think it was a nice Sunday to spend together, and we spoke about a lot of things that were very interesting. So I hope you enjoyed the show. With that said, hopefully tomorrow or the next day I have a story for you. And thank you for the kind words. I appreciate every one of you. And I love you guys. So stay well. Until next time, next Sunday, next video. God first. Give my life to him. I'm still Jimmy. I'm working on myself and just trying to do the right thing. But it was a great time over here talking to all you people and sharing this moment with you guys. So I appreciate all your kindness and stuff like that. So one more time before I am getting off of YouTube, I want you to watch my video because I love this video. Check it out. The streets will never make you grow. It's not a seed. It's a gutter. There's no happy ending in this life. So this is my message to you. The streets will never love you back. Okay, guys. Guys, I'll talk to you soon. And until next week. Bye-bye. See you. Good night.